KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Friday. Feeling good. Nate Littlefield behind the glass. Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m. And it's here. It is finally here. You don't have to wait any longer. Just a couple more hours. Kings, Pelicans. Winner goes into the playoffs to take on the number 1 seed, but also the least experienced team of those top seeds in the Oklahoma City Thunder. You could really have a good shot against this team. No disrespect to the Thunder, but you got to get it done tonight. Chris Watkins, how you doing?
Good, yeah, I'm excited, man. It's been these days off have been pretty rough, just in terms of anticipation and waiting, especially after you come off such a emotional high of beating Golden State on Tuesday. You almost want to play on Wednesday just to kind of keep the good feelings going, but got a great opportunity tonight to right a lot of wrongs that they've had this season, and it's a really, really big game. I mean, it's crazy that the season can literally be over tonight. And starting Monday, we're kind of turning the page on the season, and it's just crazy that the swing that can happen here. Either we're going to be playing basketball for at least another week and some change, or everything is over after tonight. It's exciting. It's in a way, it's why we watch sports, is for games like this, and it's the reason why these guys play and love the game so much, is for opportunities like they have today. But it's also a really, really scary opportunity also when you think about the opponent this team is facing, when you think about the fact that, this team doesn't have a long history of coming up in big games. And, you just hope that tonight is another chance for the Kings to show that this group is different. These guys have been trying to prove for the past 2 seasons now that they are not the Kings team of old. And boy, oh boy, I can't think of a better way of stamping that you are not your parents' Kings than getting a win today and just having. And we talked about it leading into the playoffs, but having to earn your playoff spot. The Sacramento Kings, if they win today, absolutely earned that last and final playoff spot.
Right. And look, they kind of made it hard on themselves, as every team in the play-in really did. There's a list of wins or losses that every play-in team is probably sitting there hitting themselves, saying, man, if we had just done this or done that. But they have an opportunity to right all those wrongs. I mean, the Pelicans, they've tricked off. I mean, this would be a monumental failure.
Yes.
A monumental failure, which does scare me, Chris. It does scare me. People are starting to feel good. I was watching the Four Letter Network late last night, and Austin Rivers, and you can basically tell who's been paying attention and who hasn't. So they throw to Austin Rivers, and Austin Rivers says, there's no Zion. The Kings are, if you weren't a Kings fan, right, and you just saw the Kings play against the Warriors or caught a couple games, and you just saw what they did to the Warriors, they throw to Austin Rivers, and he says, there's no Zion. The Kings are rolling. And he literally said, he literally said, this seems pretty simple to me. The Kings are going to take it. Kendrick, they then threw
appreciate it, Austin.
Yeah,
I wish it were that easy,
I
buddy.
just don't think you saw those games. Then they threw to Kendrick Perkins, and Kendrick Perkins said that he, even without Zion, and we'll joke Kendrick Perkins on this show, but he said even without Zion, he thinks it's even. He said it's all about Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum. He didn't reference the 0-5, but you could tell that Kendrick at least saw. It's probably one of those things where I saw somewhere that they have not beaten this team, and Zion hasn't played all the games.
Chris Russo had known.
Oh my goodness! Don't get me started on that. Mad Dog calling. So I understand why a lot of people are feeling positive, are feeling good, and I want to, Chris. I really do, but I'm worried. Sure. I'm worried that now it's flipping back, and that's been me all season long. Love the Kings as an underdog. Right. Don't really love them, and I believe the line is 1. I think they're
1 or 1.5.
I think Pelicans still favored?
No, the Kings are favored.
Okay, so the Kings are favored. You know I don't like that. It's 1, so it's essentially a pick 'em. And I don't like it at all, Chris. 916-339-1140. As we mentioned yesterday, you never know when this thing could end. So we got the phone lines open all show long. All guests and callers join us from the Full Select Honda hotline. Full Select Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. So how are you feeling? Are you feeling like me? Are you feeling more confident? We will have that conversation all day long. The only thing, and we have sound, we'll play from Keegan about expectations and the pressure. They haven't been able, the only thing that's giving me hope to feel like a lot of the people that do feel confident is that they're 0-5, which sounds insane.
I know.
If they were, and I think you said this yesterday, if they were 1-4, I'd be terrified. I'd be even more terrified.
Yes, I actually feel better because they're 0-5.
Yes.
Because you can say, they're due for 1. If they would have already gotten that 1 out of the way, I would be like, this team clearly has their number. And, they won that one time, but it was probably luck or whatever. Or, hey, you play a team 5 times, you're probably going to get them once. But they clearly have shown the matchup. And, it's really weird how sports can work like that sometimes. But absolutely, I'm right there with you. I think if they were 1-4, I'd feel better. Since they're 0-5, it's just another thing to add to the Kings side. If you're doing pros and cons, it's you got to be due at some point. But I also definitely agree with you that you should be a little bit scared, a little bit nervous for today. You shouldn't think, oh, the Kings are rolling. They're just going to roll over the Pelicans. The Pelicans are down. The Kings are up. Everything's good on our side, because you're completely right. Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum are still problems. Those are still guys who, especially for one game, can absolutely be a 1A player that can kill your team. And we've seen CJ do it time and time again. I know Brandon Ingram's coming off the injury, but just as a player profile, that dude is the exact kind of guy that gives this Kings team problems. Zion gives them problems for a completely different reason. They can't throw a body to put in front of him. Brandon Ingram's the better version of Andrew Wiggins from last year in the playoffs. The same reason we just saw Jonathan Kuminga give the Kings buckets. Isolation, create your own shot, scoring forwards. The Kings have no answer for it. And so that's the fear for me going in today, is that Brandon Ingram gets whatever shots he wants. The Kings can't slow him down. And, CJ, I think the Kings will use a similar game plan that they used with Steph on CJ, but there's still we've seen that dude just go absolutely nuclear, where it probably didn't matter what defense was throwing at him. The shot looked like he was throwing a beach ball into the ocean. So, those are definitely 2 guys that you have to be majorly concerned about going into tonight.
And do want to give a shout out to Chris quickly. I was going over the numbers yesterday, and we discussed CJ McCollum's 3 games, his 3-point percentage compared to Domantas Sabonis. And at the time, I said that CJ was shooting 70.3, which would be 0.1 worse than Sabonis's free throw percentage. I re-looked at the numbers after the show, and they're shooting the exact same percentage, both 70.4. CJ McCollum is 19 of 27. He is shooting 70.4% from 3, and that is Sabonis's free throw
So when
percentage.
we say he's shooting it like a layup or like it's a free throw, it's literally as if it's a free throw.
literally. So, that take with that what you want. The good or the bad thing is, Chris, and again, Kendrick Perkins, I never thought I would reference him that much on this show, but he was going into CJ's been cold these last 2 games.
Yeah,
we talked about this cycle yesterday. If you weren't with us yesterday and you're with us now, thanks for joining. But throughout this season, the Lakers have owned the Pelicans have owned the Kings, and the Kings have owned the Lakers. Who is going to break that cycle? Who is going to break that cycle? Because if the Pelicans win, nobody would have broken the cycle, because they still couldn't beat the Lakers, and the Kings still couldn't beat the Pelicans. So who is going to break that cycle? And you look at CJ McCollum and what he's been doing. He was hot, right? He was hot against the Kings, obviously, and then he was hot against Golden State. But those Lakers came to town, and he wasn't able to produce the same way. So now I'm thinking, I'm looking here, Chris, in 2 games against the Lakers, okay, CJ McCollum was 5 of 18. He was 1 of 9 in the play-in, and he was 4 of 9 in the other game that they lost. With 4 of 9 isn't terrible,
right?
But 1 of 9 is. So that makes me feel better because he's due. Hopefully he's not due tonight, and he's due to have a bad game against the Kings.
Yes. Absolutely. He's definitely due to have a bad game against the Kings.
Or a human game.
It's not even bad. It's just be normal. Be like, just score 22 or something, and I'll take it at this point. Yeah, I think that the Kings are going to really make a hard emphasis. I'm looking at CJ's numbers here, too. It is before these 2 Laker games, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight games of double-digit three-point attempts. To me, that's what the Kings have to do. CJ might just continue to be on fire, or like you said, he's due. Maybe the shots just end up going in today. It's about limiting those opportunities because that's what they did really well with Steph and Clay. Of course, Clay kind of had his own little independent story going on, but Steph only took 5 shots at halftime. And then at the end of the game, I think he ended up with 16. But I was watching some of the highlights back of that game. There was a really big shot that Steph could have taken that he ended up like jumping in the air and then like dumping it off because the Kings' pressure was just too much on him. And that's Steph Curry, who we've seen he's willing to take quite literally any shot on the basketball floor.
Right.
So if you can put that same level of aggression and intensity towards CJ McCollum and make him think twice about taking threes, that's to me how they can slow him down. CJ is going to be a huge factor for New Orleans in this game, especially with BI kind of, nicked up. We don't know how serious his injury is at this point. They said he practiced really well yesterday.
That extra day, man.
Yeah, it definitely could come back to bite the Kings, but I think there's no way New Orleans goes into tonight without saying CJ's got to be great tonight.
Coming up next, we continue the conversation, breaking down how the Kings can get this done. Your calls, your texts. Are we setting ourselves up for a letdown, or can they really pull this off? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the network made for streaming. Well, as the A's continue this final season in Oakland, I think it's important to remember that the Coliseum has been home to some of the greatest names in the game. August 17th, before the A's play the Giants, the A's will honor Jose Canseco, Terry Steinbach, Miguel Tejada, Bill King, Dick Williams, and Eddie Juice from the Philly days as the latest members of the A's Hall of Fame.
Want more speed? Well, Xfinity just increased their internet speeds, and they're faster than ever. It's time to get more out of your internet with faster speeds from Xfinity. Now through June 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for only $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. That's double the speed for the same great price. Click, call, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and other charges extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
How will you be watching the game? Chris, Sacramento, and we have some sound from Draymond about how that defense affected the Warriors. But, Warrior fans were kind of roasting Sacramento for celebrating, even though they would have done the same thing and did the whole little brother thing. But these play-in games are weird because I have no clue, and I'm going to throw it to you right here, where to rank this, not rank this game, but the level of excitement. And I guess it's hard to compare to last season because you were in the playoffs. So where does this fall in your years of Kings fandom? Where the heck does it fall?
It's a good question. That's a really good question. Last year feels like it's near the top for sure. Last year is definitely top 3. It's probably number 2. I mean, I was born in 95 too. So like, I don't really have a lot of memories or any really of like the first playoff teams in Sacramento to make it. I hear those were incredible. Whitey used to tell me over the summer about this incredible story of, Kings fans having a standing ovation the first 15 minutes as the guys like ran out of the tunnel, their entire warm up, just a whole standing ovation. I believe that was against the Sonics, if I'm remembering correctly. But so, I hear that was a great part, but that can't be a part of my list just because I don't remember it. I mean, just those 2002, 2003 years, of course, has to be number one. Last year's probably number two. Ultimately, I would probably put this top five, but it's definitely leaning more towards the five spot just because of the inconsistency of this year. Like, I don't know, and we've talked about this before briefly, but this year just hasn't really. And maybe it's because it's coming immediately after my number 2 season, but it just hasn't felt as fun. Last year we had, and I say this all the time, but we had the De'Aaron game winners, the Orlando shot, the Chicago I'm nice. And we even had the Clipper game, like maybe the greatest basketball game that's ever been played of this generation. Like, we had that game all in 1 year. And this year has just been, I can't think of. Malik had the game winner against Golden State in the play-in game.
His dunks, I guess.
His dunks in general, for sure. But, like, I think that's the only, like, end of game. We had Kevin Huerter pop last night. Keegan's 47, for sure. It's been a fun season. It's been one of the more winning seasons, so that's definitely added to it. And, yeah, I mean, I just think the overall ups and downs of the year have definitely made it less enjoyable than maybe what the record would appear. Like, maybe in 3 years, like, I don't know, maybe in 15 years, if we're past this era of Kings basketball, looking back at it, we might say, 46 wins. What a great era that was, the Beam Team era. And I think, while we're in it now, it just really hasn't been that great.
Well, I think the tough part is the only way.
Relatively.
Yes. I think the only way you probably appreciate this season more in 10 years is if you don't get better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. If this is the peaks. Yes.
That actually wasn't too bad. So
exactly.
I don't think this will live. We'll see what happens tonight. Because that's the thing. I guess to bring it back to tonight. Yeah, tonight specifically, and the excitement that you had over your years of being a fan.
Yeah.
It's got to be a top 5 night.
Yeah, in terms of nights, for sure. Again, like, got to bring up last year, game 1, game 2.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's number 1.
The hype
probably
leading into game 7.
Yeah.
Obviously not game 7 itself. Yeah, I mean, for sure. It's definitely one of the most exciting games. And like I said up top, like, this is what you play for. This is what you watch for. It's for your team to have it all against the wall and have an opportunity for a chance at another life, or your season's over. And these are the kind of games where you find out about the personality of your team. I think last game we found out Keegan Murray is somebody that you can rely on in big games. I think Keon Ellis showed he's somebody who, you don't have to worry about, are we going to get good productive minutes out of Keon in these bigger games? He absolutely showed that. If they can do it again tonight, I think that's just solidifying these guys are guys that we can go into our future these next couple of years and feel good about. Feel like, hey, we don't have to think about a 7th or 8th rotation guy because we got Keon Ellis. Maybe Trey Lyles and Davion have better games than they had on Tuesday. Maybe you feel better about their future. I think there's a lot that you can pick up from a game like tonight, and I think that's what makes it so exciting, even though it is an 8-9 matchup, or I guess, yeah, an 8-9 matchup. To see who can get that final playoff spot. And still, even though it's against a 1 seed, you still have to feel good about the fact that you made it to this point.
Yeah, and we will definitely break down how the Kings can take care of business and get into the playoffs. Let's get to JT, who wants to be a part of the conversation. 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. What's up, JT? What you got for us?
What's up, fellas? Stiles and Watkins. Hey, love the show, guys.
Thank you.
I'm in a bit of a pickle here, and I thought I'd call the one person who might understand how I feel. Mr. Watkins, I have a softball game starting at 8:30 tonight. What the hell do I do, bro?
Oh, that is a tough one. I don't have options, so I have to skip those games, but that's tough. I would say having the phone in your dugout is probably the safest way, but I mean, it's a play-in. If it were a playoff game, I would seriously consider that you skip it. Mm-hmm. But it being a play-in game.
But is it a playoff softball game?
Is it a playoff softball game? That's a big question. Is it a playoff softball game?
We lost it. But
God, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are the big questions that you got to figure out. But I would say the easiest thing to do is probably bring your phone or an iPad if you could into the dugout.
Yeah, well, I mean, an NBA game is about 3 hours. Okay, a long game will go 3.5. So by the time your game is starting, you're probably pretty close to the fourth quarter. You're in the halftime is over after 2 hours.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean 8:30 the game. Oh yeah, the game starts at 6:30 tonight.
Exactly.
Huh? Right.
So you're in the middle of the third quarter when your game is starting. So I would say, hey guys, I'm
definitely
gonna be DH.
Leave at halftime.
Yeah, I'm gonna be DH.
That's right.
Okay, so I don't have to go into the field at least. And then sub me into the field once the game is over.
Yeah, that's a really, really tough predicament, though. That is one of the many things that, I mean, it's tough. I have to sacrifice playing volleyball or softball, but it's
Friday night.
Sometimes it's a tough decision.
You don't want to miss Friday Night Lights. Yeah. You don't want to miss Friday Night
Definitely
Lights.
Not. Yeah.
I'm seeing on the Sac Chat. Shout out to the Sac Chat going crazy today.
Love it.
Curtis Hicks is saying Stiles, the line switched in favor of the Pelicans. Curtis, I'm saying 4 hours ago. This is from CBS Sports. I'm still seeing Sacramento 1.5 favorites.
I'm seeing on ESPN here on ESPN Bet. That is New Orleans 1.5 favorite.
Love it.
Yeah. There we go.
Love it. Need some more of it. Continuing the conversation when we return. Stiles and Watkins, more of your calls. Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
A handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered flex steel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com. #1 claims based on 2023 total new and
Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company. Sold on report.
Hi, everyone. It's Emron Pilati, host of the True Sports Card Show here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday at 10 a.m. Would you like a chance to meet Ricky Henderson, Dennis Rodman, Johnny Manziel, Randy Johnson, Frank Thomas, Vlad Guerrero Sr., Dave Stewart, and our favorite Malik Monk, and meet over 90 sports card dealers all in one weekend? This is your chance to do it on May 17th through the 19th at the Roseville Fairgrounds at the Sacramento Autograph Expo. You can get all the information about the show on our website at sacautograph.expo.com. That's sacautograph.expo.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make the switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of those spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis and see where they can help you save for the warmer months ahead. These guys are the best. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Learn more by calling 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Two young fathers are shot to death outside an iconic Utah restaurant.
I said, your dad has been hurt really bad.
The grief was disorienting for those left behind until one choice changed everything.
I just remember writing this letter, and it wasn't me writing it.
Can a personal decision shape generations?
We're all falling for this guy's trick.
I'm Amy Donaldson. Season 2 of The Letter, Ripple Effect, is available now. Follow us at theletterpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Not one, not two, not three, not four, five. Oh. 5 times the Kings have lost to the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Like we said, Chris, had people call in. You said your dad was one of 5?
Yeah, one of 5 boys. Yeah.
One of 5 boys.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
My parents, both my parents on both sides were one of 7. And it's just all mixed up.
Hey, my dad won a 7 too.
You know, back in the day,
mom
man,
too. Yeah.
that was just that 7's the new 7.
They were Mormon too. That was a big thing. So
3's the new 7.
3's the new 7, baby.
3's the new 7 in this economy. But we're trying to figure out if anybody knows anybody. 6 boys or 6 girls.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Come on.
You play roulette. You ever seen black hit 6 times?
Come on.
You ever seen red hit 6 times?
I know you have.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
I actually did.
Yeah.
On my birthday,
Yeah.
I did. That's exactly what
But
happened.
you ever seen
But that's
Green?
besides the point.
Green never hit
But
6
you never
times.
seen Green hit
I'm
6
curious.
times.
So, Alan, you see black hit 5 times. Are you the type to bet black, or are you going red?
I'm going black every time. But I'll go red, but not because of that.
Okay.
Because I always do black just in general.
Sure.
So I can't lose to black
Right.
if
The
it's
ones-
been hot.
right. Okay.
You know what I mean? There was somebody at one of the spots around here, and that day it was legitimately black, like
All day long.
all day
Yeah.
long, and he kept trying to force red, and he 4 or 5 times, Chris,
See, yeah,
and
that
he
hurts.
lost every single time. This is not good. This
Yeah.
is not a
Don't
good
be
setup.
that guy, Kings.
Yes,
Don't
Kings.
be that guy.
Do not be that guy. You have to flip the script tonight.
Yes.
You have to do it.
Take destiny into your own hands.
if they don't, 916-339-1140, it's not even an embarrassment thing. I know there's no Zion and there's no Malik, so I feel like that's somewhat, and there's no Kevin Huerter, so that feels fairly even to me. I'd even say that the Pelicans are in a bit of a better spot than the Kings. But if you lose, and now with the Kings doing what they did to the Warriors, now they have these expectations as far as the national media is concerned, besides Mad Dog Russo. So the question is, if you lose to a team 6 times, how bad of a look would that be?
Pretty tremendous. And like, that's one that, if you lose to an opponent 6 times in 1 year, that's everybody. Everybody gets a piece of the blame pie on that one. That's absolutely the players. You don't get to just blame it on the coach and say, he didn't have us ready. 6 opportunities and you guys haven't really shown much. If 5 opportunities already and you haven't shown much of a path to victory. If you lose a 6th time, I don't think you can just blame that all on the coach. You guys are out there for the 48 minutes. You can do something out there to affect the game. Mike Brown is not blameless in that situation either. 6 times to figure out some sort of game plan to work something out to make these guys struggle. You can't have CJ McCollum shoot 95% from the field and from 3 in every single game and not say like, hey, let's just put 5 guys on him at some point. Monty McNair also gets a lot of the blame for that as well, because if you lose to a team 6 times, that clearly means that you probably didn't build a balanced lineup, right? That means that you have a clear and obvious hole that is clearly being taken advantage of by a specific opponent. Now, if you're Monty McNair, you say, hey, man, that's one team that's beating the hell out of us.
Right.
29 other teams can't do that to us. So, definitely.
Well, the Rockets did beat.
There you go. We could probably find some other teams too. So it's everybody's taking a part of the blame in that for sure, but nobody gets 100% of the blame either. It's definitely an even split probably for those 3 of people, because you lose to a team 6 times. That's a whole community of failure.
It really is. And to me, it has to be about if they lose, how they lose. If they lose the same way, and CJ McCollum,
15 plus, no thanks.
If you lose by double digits, I'm 10 would be on the borderline, but if you lose by say 12 or more, I think a lot of people are going to go at Mike Brown on that. Everybody deserves some blame. And it's really about how they lose. If CJ McCollum drops 35 points and he's wide open all the time, that's a problem, because you have not learned after 6 times you let the same thing happen to you. It's just ridiculous if that happens. Joe Jaros on the Sac Chat. My college roommate was one of 8 boys. Not today, Joe.
Okay, Joe.
Not today, Joe. It's just not today. All right. Looks like we have some form of a double agent on the Sac Chat. Michael Morgan says 6-0. Also says y'all can't match up. I mean, they haven't matched up so far, Michael.
We got the one Pelicans fan in the planet.
Yeah, it's possible. Well, Michael,
pleasure.
if you head to New Orleans, or maybe you're in New Orleans, $25 or more, you can get that fleece jacket.
Nice.
You can get that fleece jacket.
Oh, yeah, and a ticket to the game, too.
And a ticket to the game, too.
If you're into that.
If you do want to check that out. I know Dave is. Dave, can you get me a schmedium fleece jacket while you're there? Just don't get any popcorn.
I hear
on
they're
it.
Just passing them out.
Yeah, don't get any popcorn on it. All right. This is from the 916. This reminds me of the 49ers streak versus the Rams. They had one. Oh, I know where they're going. Around 7 in a row, and then lost to them in the playoffs.
That's right.
Rams eventually won a Super Bowl after that win. Same thing going to happen to the Kings. That is from Andres. There you go.
Nice. There you go.
I do remember that. I do remember that. 209. Monty McNair. This is interesting, Chris, and not really a day for it, but we'll entertain it from the 209. Monty McNair gave Coach Brown all the tools. He just doesn't use them. I've never heard that before.
I haven't either. Yeah, I would love to hear further elaboration on that.
Yeah.
Who are the guys? I'm curious. Who specifically are the guys that you feel like haven't gotten enough run?
Yeah, I mean, the only person I could think of, I know there is a group of people, 2 people I can think of. There are a group of people that really want Chris Duarte to play more, and there are a group of people that really want Sasha Vezenkov to play more. And yeah, I get really confused.
JaVale McGee hive.
Well, people do
I
love
saw
JaVale
enough of
McGee.
JaVale.
Yeah,
I've
people do love JaVale McGee. Chris Duarte can be really confusing to me when it comes to his defense.
Yeah.
Because it looks like he's playing really good defense,
Yes.
but I don't think he's actually playing really good defense.
Right. If I were a coach, I would get in trouble for playing Chris Duarte too much because, like, I see it. I see what is supposed to be happening. It just very rarely actually happens. Like, in theory, he is a 3-and-D guy, right? Like, you see the physicality that he has on the ball, super handsy, sometimes to a fault, but you can dial that back as long as he's got the intensity, that mindset. You like to see it, and then sometimes he'll get blown by. Sometimes he'll get way too handsy and, isn't the greatest in rotations. And then on the offensive end, he is a good shooter. In college, he was a great shooter. I think his first year in the league, he shot 37, 38%.
And he's not afraid.
And he's not afraid either. He doesn't knock them down efficiently, and it feels like he doesn't quite understand the rhythm of the offense yet. And you could say maybe that's not getting enough playing time, but it just feels like every time Duarte's out there, it makes sense. And then as he plays, it just kind of doesn't end up going how I think everybody envisions it going. And it's kind of unfortunate. Maybe it's a bad year. Maybe he's somebody who takes some time to get adjusted
to a new team,
to a situation. Who knows? Maybe next year will be a much better one for Chris Duarte as he's more comfortable. But this year, I just haven't really seen it on the floor.
Yeah, kind of mixed between a 2 and a 3.
Yeah, exactly.
And what part of the rotation, who was he behind at what time? It's probably been a bit confusing. From the 209, you know that Chris Duarte, even Len a little bit more, and McGee, that team New Orleans is so much bigger than us. We need some size, mix it up. They don't have to play 30 minutes, just play 15 freaking minutes. I do think we'll see more of Alex Len, or at least I hope I do. He's been playing well. And, I do think that with the load that Sabonis has carried throughout the season and his limited bag, if you will, offensively, it's good to get him a little break. So it's just not the same thing over and over and over and over again. When we return, we hear from Keegan Murray. He talks about preparation, the difference between last season and this season, and if there's any pressure, any extra pressure that he feels and the team feels going into tonight's game. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings did it. They eliminated the Warriors and kept their season alive.
They swing it to Keegan, going for another one. He hits it from the line drive on the right wing. That's the 8th three-pointer that Keegan Murray has made in 13 attempts. He has 32 points.
Now, they need to do it again on Friday in New Orleans. Kings and Pelicans, Friday at 6:30 on your home of the Kings, Sactown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
It's Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you want a deal that's a slam dunk, go see the winning team at Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is your truck headquarters with all your American-made favorites, like America's best-selling F-Series, F-150s, and Super Duties, or spacious new Explorers and Expeditions, plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports, all in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. In the Folsom Auto Mall, you can buy any new Ford with zero down on approved credit, save big with low interest finance rates, and Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Check out the huge selection of inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership to see their most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. They'll help you out. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 35 years and counting.
Are you stressing about your IRS tax problems? Have you received notices from the IRS threatening to garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, or seize your property? You need an ally. Allies Tax Relief has tax attorneys and enrolled agents that are ready to fight for you. They have saved millions for taxpayers just like you. Allies Tax Relief can help put a stop to IRS collections and, most importantly, negotiate your tax debt. Here's Brenda, a happy client of Allies Tax Relief.
I owed the IRS around $57,000, and they're about to start garnishing my paychecks. I heard a commercial on the radio about Allies Tax Relief, so I thought I'd give them a call. After a day, they were able to at least stop the garnishments, and after a few months of negotiations, I walked away owing the IRS only $301.
If you owe the IRS, call Allies Tax Relief right now for your free consultation. Call 800-230-5174. 800-230-5174. That's 800-230-5174.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't. Right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Everybody needs good feet. Have you made a mistake in your past that you want removed from your record? At the Gonzalez Law Office, we know that good people make mistakes. Restore your rights. Clear your record. Call us at 916-304-9187. That's 916-304-9187 or at saclegaldefense.com. Do you have a pending criminal case or injured in an accident? At the Gonzalez Law Office, we handle all criminal and injury cases. We don't settle for less, and neither should you. Call the Gonzalez Law Office at 916-304-9187. or visit us at saclegaldefense.com.
With a variety of weekly promotions, there's something for everyone to enjoy at a Sacramento River Cats game. Don't miss a Toyota Family Value Tuesday featuring $2 hot dogs and $2 ice cream, or Thirsty Thursday featuring ice cold beer. Join us on Smut Orange Fridays for happy hour and live music. And don't forget to stick around post-game every Friday and Saturday night as we light up the sky with post-game fireworks. Find all promotional details at rivercats.com and make your plans to head out.
Nine 916-339-1140. You want to be a part of the conversation? And there's a lot of conversation to be had. We are approaching Kings Pelicans, a showdown in New Orleans. Carmichael Dave is probably going through security right now. Go say what's up to him if you see him. Jason Ross, already there, hardest working man in radio. He's already there doing his thing, keeping the vibes right. Get some Gator for me. Get some beignets for me.
You guys ever have Gator?
Yes.
Never. I've wanted to try it.
The one time I was in New Orleans, I was maybe 11 or 12 years old, so I didn't get to – I still need to do New Orleans.
Right.
But, yeah, had some Gator. It tasted like a mix between – like if fish and chicken had a baby. That's what it tasted like.
Yeah. For a lot of proofs. That sounds spot on.
It's like the
creatures.
glossiness of fish, right? Like the actual meat has that glossiness,
right?
But there's no fishy taste.
And it's a white meat.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It's one of the most like protein packed.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, I mean, I love
Gator
to eat
jerky
every day after a lift, but
dude, I love it.
There you go.
Find Gator.
Yeah, it's just really hard to find Gator around.
Can I just say how excited I am about tonight? As a Kings fan.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I'm excited. I know you're not supposed to be. I'm not like getting my hopes up too high, but I'm just excited. I think they're gonna do it.
No, you are supposed to be, Nate. You are supposed to be.
I just don't want to jinx. I don't want to be the jinx guy. But I'm I'm happy for the Kings.
I don't think you're jinxing anything. I mean, you lose to a team 5 times. We've probably done 5 different things on every day, and it hasn't made a difference. They've played them without CJ. They've played them without Ingram. They've played them without Zion, and it hasn't mattered. The closest game was when I believe CJ didn't play, Zion and Ingram did, and the Kings didn't have Keegan, and that was the closest game.
Yeah.
They
Pelicans
lost by
shot
5.
27% from 3 in that game.
See?
Wasn't a playoff or playing game.
Nope,
was
it sure wasn't.
Keegan's hot.
No.
Okay, here's a good one.
None of that matters.
Here's a good one because I think I do know the answer. Losing to a team 6 times. This is from a pressure standpoint. Don't get me wrong. Losing to a team 6 times with 2 of those times, one affecting your seeding, which kind of puts you in the play-in for sure, and then the other would be being eliminated by that team in the play-in, or losing on the Pelican side, losing to the Lakers twice, which once put you in the play-in, the second time kept you from being the 7 seed at home, and then losing to a team that you had beat 5 times at home again to miss to end your season. I think in a way, there's even without Zion, there's I think more funny enough, nationally more people care about the Kings, which is really interesting.
What?
I would say.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I would say that it would be seen as more of a collapse. I think people haven't watched enough. Besides, even Kendrick Perkins saying that he's been watching, or it sounds like he has been. I think enough people have watched that if the Kings lose tonight, they would say that the Kings fumbled the bag. But those that have been watching all season long should know that if the Pelicans lost, that would be a worse collapse than the Kings, in my opinion. That would be 3 chances to extend your season, and you did not do that.
Yeah, no, I definitely think the Pelicans are lining up for a much worse scenario because, you lose to a team 6 times in a year. That's obviously embarrassing, obviously not great. If that team ends up eliminating you from the playoffs, total ownage. There's nothing you could say. There's no comebacks you can have for that. But on the other side, to have done all the work through 80 games to put yourself in a situation to make the playoffs, and then a week later you're no longer in the playoffs, not because you got eliminated from the actual playoffs, because you never actually did make it. That's terrible. Especially I just think of if us sitting in these chairs here, which would I expect more people to call in and say, this is unacceptable, this is wrong, here's the reasons why we need to blow this up. I just can't. If the Kings had done all the work all year to get to a 6 seed, and then in game 82, blew it, and then had 2 chances to salvage it.
At home,
all of them at home, and blew all 3 in front of your home crowd, people would go nuts.
Yeah.
People would go ballistic.
Well, and I did send Chris, there's a clip, we cannot play it on the air, but there's a clip from a Pelicans Twitter space after the loss to the Lakers, and they're already losing it. They are already losing it, and I would be too. Well, that's a terrible situation.
They can really fall back on injuries too right now, but I mean,
they were rolling without Ingram. They were rolling without Ingram.
They're missing the big man though, and that's a huge problem.
It's a worse collapse for the Pelicans.
I think it's a worse collapse for them.
They were sitting in the 5 seed.
And plus, we're down too. If you're the Pelicans, you say, not only did you beat this team 5 times, they didn't have Malik or Kevin Huerter in that 6th time.
Yeah.
And so what else could you have wanted from that opponent?
5th time.
Or the 5th time.
They won that game.
Yes, that's true. Right.
Yeah. And the Pelicans, like you guys were saying, were winning without their guys.
Yeah. They were rolling without Ingram.
Yeah.
Maybe not rolling, but they had recently gotten hot, probably because they played the Kings, and then they played well.
They won 4 of their last 5 of the season.
There you go.
Yeah.
And on the Kings side of things, we all feel good about it. But if you look at the games, they were 5-7. They had lost 5 of their last 7 going into that Warriors game. So I know it's a different season, if you will.
Right.
But now they've just won. They've now
won back-to-back games.
Yeah, they've now lost 5 of their last 8, won back-to-back games. So when does the momentum get going here?
Yeah, 2, and you can argue, I mean, as much as it was the Blazers, 2 blowouts. So, like, they are feeling good about themselves. They feel good
lost
about
to that team earlier this season.
Exactly. You know,
There
that's
you
a
go.
redemption arc right there. And, you know, I've heard people bring this up too. Just because the Kings hadn't gotten the results in that 10 games, I think that did do them a little bit of a disservice with how well they were playing. Like they were what, top 10 in both offense and defensive rating during that stretch. They were 4 and 6, which is why ultimately it was tough to talk about it as such a positive, but they're playing really, really good basketball right now. And, you know, you just got to hope to continue at it. The problem is the Kings were playing really good defensive basketball leading into that Pelicans game, and everything went out the window. And that's why this opponent is just tough to feel any better than a like 55% chance of the Kings winning today. To me, is incredibly optimistic. Not saying it's not going to happen, but just with everything we've seen this year, like you've laid out, all of the different scenarios that we've seen between these two teams, the only consistent has been the Pelicans absolutely having the Kings number. So it's tough to believe that, you know, after watching all that the Pelicans might blow this game, but at the same time, I mean, there are a lot of things working in the Kings' favor, and the Pelicans are, you know, they're a bit down, like just because, you know, Zion definitely put the team on his back the past 2-3 weeks with Brandon Ingram out, and it is a bit of a transition period. It's not easy to go from, hey, we've leaned really heavily on Zion here the past couple weeks, and CJ as well, but now we just have to slide Brandon Ingram in there where he hasn't really been in that rhythm. Like that's not an easy ask to do.
Yeah, and I mean, both of these teams, if you're truly looking at it, I think they both can convince themselves all we got to do is get through this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll have a good chance. I don't know. What did they say for Zion? They said, what was it, 2
weeks? I think
2 weeks
at least.
So, hey, we get through this. We were able to win some games without Ingram.
Right.
We can find a way to do it without Zion. We are playing the most inexperienced team at the top of the seeding in the Oklahoma City Thunder. Both those teams can convince themselves. It's just a matter of who is going to be able to get over the hump today.
Yeah.
I obviously it'll be tougher taking on OKC, but in a weird way, both these teams might be nervous. Probably isn't the right word, but man, this is going to be a tough one. But if we can get through this, at least you get, after you've been in the play and playing for your life, the idea of having 4 games to figure something out, no matter who you're playing,
some cushion
will at least make you feel, you could be playing, you know, the Bulls from the 90s. You'd at least feel like, at least we'll have a couple shots at this to game plan and figure some things out, which they haven't truly had. And you're not going to have in the play-in. When we return, we will hear from Keegan Murray on what they have to do tonight, how they prepared, and if they're feeling any pressure. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, a breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Ram Truck Month?
We are very excited to be celebrating 75 years in business by doing what we do best, helping you get the truck you need for less. Right now, save up to $11,000 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs. And with over 500 new Rams available, you won't find a better selection in all of California.
Wow, 75 years? That is amazing.
It all started with my grandpa and great-grandpa's dream, and it's grown over the years to where we've had a chance to serve tens of thousands of customers and show them there's something special about Hoblet you just can't get at those big city auto mall dealerships.
Come experience the difference at California's #1 Ram truck dealer. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
11,000 total net savings after 5,000 factory rebates and 6,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include 2,000 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Must finance through Chrysler Cap to qualify. 500 first responder bonus cash. Must be current member of eligible first responder association. More than 5 of the total net savings. See dealer for details.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have, because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, If only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
Some people just know the best places to eat around town. Those are the people who know to choose Allstate. They know exactly where to go to get exactly what you're wanting. They know where to find the spiciest hot pot, the gooeyest brownies, and the tenderest, most flavorful portobello steak. Those people also know that safe drivers save 40% with Allstate.
Saving 40% is based on the national average premium savings for Allstate auto customers with a clean driving record versus those without. Savings vary by state and vary based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
At Fasteners Inc., we believe adding quality power tools to your lineup shouldn't break the bank. That's why we're hosting the biggest Milwaukee tool sale of the year in Sacramento. On top of insane deals on Milwaukee power tools, all Milwaukee pack-out storage boxes, hand tools, and tool accessories will be 25% off. So come on down on April 27th to the Milwaukee Tool Sanity Sale at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet on Power Inn Road in Sacramento. For more info, visit fastenersinc.net.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Jiffy Lube has a special promotion going on right now. Simply purchase a Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change at Jiffy Lube and receive a $25 e-gift card from popular brands for food, gas, and more. It's that easy. Simply purchase a Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change and receive a $25 e-gift card. So basically, going to Jiffy Lube can get you a free lunch or a pizza for dinner. That's what we call added value for the consumer. That's why Jiffy Lube is #1 in the greater Sacramento area for oil changes. Visit jiffylube.com for more details and valuable coupons today.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531, 808-2531.
Skeeter here, Field Tech, Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District. Hey, it's my favorite week of the year, Mosquito Awareness Week. Yep, the spring and warm weather means the little suckers are starting to breed and bite. Gotcha. So it's time to fight the bite. Once a week, drain standing water from flower pots, bird baths, dog dishes, and at dawn and dusk, start using insect repellent outside and wear long clothes, because these skeeters are out for blood.
The Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District reminds you it's time to fight the bite. For more information, go to fightthebite.net.
Once upon a time, you could get a heater tune-up or an air conditioner tune-up for just $59, or both for $89. Not too hot, not too cold, just right.
I thought you were going to read me a bedtime story.
Go to sleep now. Bonnie.com. License 696-355.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Gonna hear from Keegan Murray. Got a couple texts that just came through. 916. The Kings get killed by Ingram. If we can hold him under his average points, we will have a good shot. My mindset is pick one, right? If CJ's gonna go off, fine. If Ingram's going to go off, fine. But they can't both go off, because I do not think Alvarado is going to shoot the way he shot in Sacramento. I do not think Trey Murphy is going to shoot the way he shot in Sacramento. He's been hot, but the bottom line is if everybody plays like normal humans and one of the two, whether Brandon Ingram or CJ McCollum, goes off, you can sustain that. You can't have both of them dropping 25 plus, and then you get out of the Trey Murphy, the Herb Jones, and the Alvarado, one of them will have a good game. You just have to limit damage. From the 916, if the Kings win tonight, they wouldn't have to run into the Pelicans in a potential series later. Could you imagine being 0-5 against a team and then getting matched up again in a playoff series? Get it tonight. Go Kings. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, at least you'd have more than one shot. That's how I would feel. I think they wouldn't feel great about it either way, but yeah, it is what it is. They're going to have one shot at it. And to your point, 916, you got one shot, one opportunity to kind of flip the script. Yeah, if you're looking at the numbers, you might get one in a 7-game series, but the thought of, man, we have to beat this team 4 times when we've already lost to them 5, that would be a lot less likely. Let's hear from Keegan Murray. This was after their shoot-around yesterday before they took flight off to New Orleans. This is Keegan Murray, and he's basically just breaking down whether they're feeling any pressure and how this preparation for the play-in has been different than the playoff matchup last season.
It's just different because every game feels like it's a game 7. Just you have to focus in, lock in on one game, and just give it all you got because you never know what the outcome's going to be.
Do you feel the pressure?
I mean, not really, to be honest. I mean, I feel like you go out there and it's basketball at the end of the day. So you want to go out there and just give it your all. At the end of the day, my goal is just to leave the game with no regrets, and I just want to go into the off season, whenever that is, with no regrets of how that game ended.
Not surprised to hear Keegan Murray doesn't feel pressure.
But I like that.
Of course.
I like that.
Yeah, of course.
I like how, and yes, everybody jokes about Keegan and how he's very kind of monotone and you can't tell if they're up 20 but down 20. But honestly, that's what you need that. The problem is the Kings might have too much of that, right? But you do need that, especially with a young player like Keegan and knowing how important it's going to be for him to play. And he balled out against the Warriors, so you hope he'd be able to do it again. Yeah, as far as the preparation, it's interesting because although it's a 1-game play-in, it almost helps the Kings. I know they've lost games, but it's not a 1-game one-off against a random team. This isn't March Madness in that I don't know who the South Dakota State Rabbits have. I don't know who that team is, or the St. Mary's Gales. I've only watched them maybe once or twice, and now we have a couple days to prepare for them. The Kings have seen the Pelicans 5 times. So in a weird way, you have to feel confident because at least they have the homework. Whether they'll be able to execute, but you feel like going in, and we love to talk about school on the show, going into the finals, you can at least feel like, okay, had a couple tests, I didn't do well. I have a couple quizzes, didn't do well, but I know what the final is about. I've studied, and I should at least do better than I've done in the past. I don't know if I'm going to get an A, but hopefully I don't get a D or a C- again.
Right, yeah.
Well, there's some F's in there. Clearly some F's in there. You lose by 33 points.
Right. I think the big thing is, too, the Kings have been playing big games for a couple weeks now. Like, really, since those 2 Dallas games, every single game they've played has been like playoff intensity. And so, it does make me feel good that, like I said in the last segment, the Kings numbers are those that would be really, really positive if they had just gotten the results down the stretch. So they're playing good basketball, and they've been going through playing really tough opponents. Like the Dallas Mavericks, when they were playing them, that was for seeding. Dallas was playing at full strength, full intensity. The OKC game, you could argue, if OKC pretty much won the 1 seed by winning against the Kings. And, you can go down the list of the opponents the Kings played at the end of the season. Even the Pelicans, including the Pelicans, who were fighting for that 6 seed at the time, they put together maybe the best performance they've had against the Kings all year in that last one. So the fact that the Kings have played at this level for a couple weeks and are now starting to kind of find the results in this style of play, I think there's a lot of reasons to feel good. And then, on top of what you said, absolutely. You have a ton of film on this team. You've played them. You have all the experience. There should be no nerves, no jitter, nothing should surprise you about what happens today. And that's the interesting thing about it. This isn't really like that Warriors series where, they hadn't played the Warriors game, I should say, where they hadn't played the Warriors since January or whatever. They've played this Pelican team 5 times, once in the in-season tournament, which you could argue in a way is very much like the play-in, similar setting. I think a lot of things are going in the Kings' favor in terms of not having to worry about outside noise going into you don't have much doubt going into this game yourself because of everything that you have working for you on those outside factors. The only thing that's really not working for you in this game is the 0-5 of it all. Yes. Besides that, I think everything is really trending towards the Kings' direction, which is weird that we now see it flip the odds at least to 1.5 towards the Pelicans now.
Well, and I love it. I love when the Kings are an underdog. Earlier in the show, I had mentioned how, as far as the national media is concerned, who it would look worse for. And I said, I think a lot of people would say it would look worse for the Kings because they don't really realize the 0-5 and they don't understand how important Malik Monk has been. I will say this. Everything you just said about it lining up for the Kings, which is why I've been nervous, is true. I also want to say, in 916-339-1140, as much as we talk about the national narrative and national media, is it crazy for me to say, even if they get Zion back, and maybe this could go in a different direction, but I really don't know how much the NBA is still, oh my goodness. We talked about, you're going to have to face, we thought the Pelicans were going to beat the Lakers. You're going to have to face the Warriors, who, Adam Silver would love to have the Warriors in the playoffs. And then you're going to have to face the Lakers, and Adam Silver would love to have the Lakers in the playoffs. If we're doing this conversation, not to say that the refs are going to affect the game, but couldn't you say that the NBA would rather have the Kings and the beam and the excitement in the playoffs than the Pelicans, who you can't depend on? You never know who's going to play. You can't even get people to fill the arena in New Orleans. I feel like the NBA, in 2 smaller markets, I feel like the NBA would actually prefer the Kings in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. It's there's definitely sides for each one, because you're right. The environment isn't even close. Like,
not
you'd
close.
Much rather have those 2 incredibly passionate small that's a highlight of your small markets if you're the NBA.
Yes.
This is exactly what you want every small market to look like if you're the NBA. You just showcase that series of OKC against Sacramento. But you're right. Like, there's also the New Orleans element of, we don't know about Zion's health, but you get Zion Williamson in that series. You get 2 young teams, 2 young stars. They would probably pick Sacramento, but we learned last game, it really doesn't matter what the league wants, because we would have thought that the league absolutely would have wanted the Warriors in this game, and they probably would have wanted it to be Lakers Warriors in this game. So, ultimately, I don't think it's it's not David Stern's NBA anymore, where outcomes are suspicious to say the least. But I think just from a league perspective, absolutely, I would think it's a great showcasing of those 2 small markets. And New Orleans, OKC, I know New Orleans has the Bourbon Street and has all the fun of New Orleans, but I just don't think that's a market that necessarily drives national interest.
No, we took calls yesterday with some people from the South just saying, and we were talking LSU compared to New Orleans. I don't know how many diehard, and they're out there, but oh my goodness, if the Pelicans lose, I'm going to be gutted for the next 2 weeks.
LSU basketball more than they care about the Pelicans? That's
women's.
That's a real one.
Women's probably. Yeah. So to me, it's just funny because out of all the markets in the NBA, the Kings are actually getting to play one of the handful that you could actually say you're better than.
Yes, we're a bigger market than OKC.
Exactly. So, I'd say, I was saying New Orleans. In the plan.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess even still, it would be a bigger market. I guess, obviously people would probably rather travel to New Orleans than Sacramento, but in terms of media market, I would probably say Sacramento's got to be the higher media market.
Yeah, because Brandon Ingram, I don't know how much of star power he has. I mean, if you're comparing Brandon, I think CJ McCollum might be higher.
Probably.
Crazy enough.
Yeah.
So at least you get De'Aaron Fox, you get a young stud in Keegan Murray, you get a great story in Keon Ellis, and you have the man who's actively trying to fix his playoff narrative in Domantas Sabonis. And I'll tell you what, if you get it done tonight, and I know Chet Holmgren will, if they win tonight, we will look at the tape and see what is it that Chet did against Sabonis that worked in that last matchup.
Foul trouble, that's it.
Yeah, but if you can you talk about the redemption, Sabonis on Chet, who's been giving it to him all season long.
Oh, stop it.
No, I'm saying Sabonis has.
I was like,
I'm saying that's how he changes the narrative.
Come on now.
But one step at a time. Got to beat the Pelicans first. When we return, Draymond has some things to say about the Kings on his podcast. He's got a lot of time these days.
A lot of free time.
Also, who he thinks who will win in tonight's matchup. A lot of teams or a lot of people picking the Kings. It's making us worry. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
About 15 minutes away from the Kings Roundtable. And we will be joined by Brendan Nunez and Frankie Cardicelli. Haven't been able to get a read on them in our group chat, mostly because they don't respond, but we will get answers from them and how they are feeling for tonight's matchup. But first, we are going to hear from Draymond Green. He's putting on his analyst hat. I do wonder how Draymond, especially in Sacramento, how he is received as an analyst.
Not well. Not well.
Yeah, what kind of question is that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
People really differentiate. No, that's Draymond the player. This is Draymond the analyst.
Sacramento fans know ball, and I'm just saying, okay, hey, this guy Draymond, yeah, obviously on the court he can be whatever, but I know he has a vast basketball acumen, and I like what he says. Or is it just as soon as I hear his voice, stop?
Sick vocab, by the way, acumen.
I mean, I read books sometimes. Don't get us started on the reading a book versus, listening to it. It is not the day for that. Summer will return. Let's hear from Draymond. We'll start with the physicality of the Kings, and then he gives a pick for Kings Pelicans. Here he is.
We got popped by the Kings, 118-94 on Tuesday, which ended our season. I told y'all I hate that play-in. They were way more physical than us. They shot the ball way better than us. They dominated the game. But, like, it comes down to one game, NCAA tournament style, and that's just it. Like, you don't get it back. Like, you don't get another chance. And so I hate to play in still. And so got to get our defense credit. Mike Brown, we know, is a defensive genius.
Got popped. And the crispness that we saw in the rotations, that's just not what we saw, Chris.
Yeah.
We have not seen that against the Pelicans, I should say. No. And that was the biggest letdown in that game. Again, even in that game, I felt the same way I do tonight. Obviously, the season's over if you lose tonight, but I just felt if you look good and it's a good game and it's just out of your hands, and maybe to some degree it was because of how they shot the three ball, but there were some open threes for CJ. So it wasn't like you're running off the line and he's going crazy. There were open threes, transition threes, things like that. I'm looking here at the turnovers. Yeah, the Kings had 14 turnovers. I mean, the Pelicans had 13. And I believe that was the game they tricked off the Kings a couple fast breaks. Yeah. Every time they tried to get over the hump, they messed something up, and then Alvarado hit a three or CJ hit a three. So we just haven't seen – they just look completely different. You remember those memes back in the day? It was – broadband network, and it would say, or it would be, they'd use Steph Curry or somebody, and they'd be super jacked in one photo, and then they would be scrawny in the other, and it would be, this is the Kings on this, or this is the Kings on that, and it would basically be your wireless AT&T or a normal wireless plan, and that's essentially what it's been. The Kings, or reverse on both sides, the Kings have looked one way against other teams, and the Pelicans have looked one way against other teams, and then the Kings have been the scrawny person against the Pelicans, and the Pelicans have been yoked against the Kings every time.
Yeah, looking like that Brock Purdy picture.
Well, he did look shredded.
Come on.
No, he did. He looked like he had some muscle milk over the summer.
Can I be hyper optimistic for a second?
Yes.
I feel like, especially after hearing Draymond talk like that, I wonder if the Kings, like, we haven't really fully, even as a fan base, really diagnosed the fact that this Kings team has only played postseason basketball so far against the Warriors, the team that has played more postseason games than quite literally any other team out there. And they hit them in the mouth on Tuesday and gave them one hell of a series last year. What are the odds that it's like fighting with ankle weights on, or running with ankle weights on?
Sure.
Where you've been playing this team that has all the experience in the world, has all the reason to get motivated for these games, and the Kings brought a level of physicality which the Warriors weren't ready for. In an elimination, do or die franchise or whatever, era on the line, all that stuff. What if they bring that same level of pop and intensity and game plan like Draymond talked about to the Pelicans? Are the Pelicans ready for that? In a weird way, have the Kings not been tested in the most extreme way these two past postseasons? And the Pelicans, I know they've been in the play in the past 3 years, so they're used to this environment. Are they used to the physicality that the Kings brought? To me, that's the X factor, because that physicality is not a thing that we've seen from this Kings team really at all besides the postseason. That's the one thing in those 5 Pelican games that they played, and that's why everybody's saying, you can throw those out, because this is going to be a completely different ball game. If the Kings' physicality is that the Pelicans, who have a skinny Brandon Ingram, who have a CJ McCollum, who, again, just pull up those Lehigh pictures from back in the day, and it'll make you feel good about the Kings being physical with them. I know Jonas Valanciunas is really physical, but if they don't have Zion out there, that's a lot of their beef. And I don't know if they can handle the amount of physicality that the Kings had on Tuesday. Now, will the refs allow that level of physicality again? I don't know. But I just, again, the Kings have played about the most seasoned veteran team you could play in these postseason games. And I think there's a bit of ankle weights to it. I do want to see them come out, hit New Orleans in the mouth, and I wonder, again, if the Kings bring that level of physicality, can they get off to a 12-2 run, a 15-5 run to start the game? And, the game could be over before it even starts.
Well, that was what happened on Tuesday, and this was the first time we saw the Kings hold on to that lead. and not kind of trick it off as they had been. So they got over that hump as well. Valanciunas, one thing, Chris, we hadn't really mentioned, and I know we had text messages and calls and sack chats come in after that Pelicans game because Valanciunas was 3 for 3 from that random mid-range.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're running ISO Valanciunas.
He went 5 for 8
Yeah.
from the field, and he's shooting mid-range jump shots.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous. Let's hear from Draymond. Let's hear from Draymond again as he gives, and this isn't going to make me feel too good, but let's hear from Draymond again on his official prediction for tonight's game.
And now you got the Kings that go take on the New Orleans Pelicans. Without Zion, I think the Kings should win that pretty easily. No game at that magnitude is ever easy. Like, the Kings beat us pretty easily. I'm sure they didn't feel like it was that easy, like it's max effort. And so take what I said with a grain of salt, but I think the Kings go in. They have the experience. They came on the road here last year during the playoffs and won a game. Like, they have the experience. I think they go and win that game. Their defense is flying around the way they were flying around against us. No Zion. That's Zion's 24 points or whatever he averaged on the floor, but that's like 50 to 55 points with his impact and people shrinking and them getting threes and pressure he puts on the rim and the defense collapse. You get a swing. Like, that's a huge loss. Huge loss. And they're not going to be able to overcome that, in my opinion.
POV. Wow. The worst person
I know.
Just made a great point.
Yeah.
Well,
Draymond the analyst, completely different than Draymond the player.
That's what I'm saying. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Kevin Herter plays here.
It's Herter. He's been hot. He fires. He's still hot. Kevin Herter from downtown has a 15-point first quarter.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Have you made a mistake in your past that you want removed from your record? At the Gonzalez Law Office, we know that good people make mistakes. Restore your rights. Clear your record. Call us at 916-304-9187. That's 916-304-9187 or at saclegaldefense.com. Do you have a pending criminal case or injured in an accident? At the Gonzalez Law Office, we handle all criminal and injury cases. We don't settle for less, and neither should you. Call the Gonzalez Law Office at 916-304-9187 or visit us at saclegaldefense.com.
Slightly Stupid. Live in concert. Saturday, April 27th, 7:30 p.m. The venue in Thunder Valley. With special guest Fortunate Youth. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss Slightly Stupid live.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Tub Shed, new dog treatment sensors, and Raising Cane's chicken fingers.
Welcome to a brighter future with Aztec Solar, serving Sacramento since 1980. Everyone knows that solar saves money. How much? The answer is a few clicks away. Visit yourpowersavings.com. It's fast, easy, and reliable, giving you instant insight into your potential savings.
I used to pay $400 a month to the power company, and that $400 a month added up to $48,000 over the past 10 years. That all changed when I switched to solar with Aztec Solar.
Now it's your turn to stop overpaying for electricity. Calculate your solar savings right now at yourpowersavings.com. And Aztec Solar will email or text you how much you'll save every month. Plus, we've got an exclusive offer for you. Get your solar electrical system for just $9,995 cash price after incentives. Don't wait. This deal won't last forever. Visit yourpowersavings.com today and take the first step towards energy independence with Aztec Solar.
Seems like all this artificial intelligence stuff stirs up the age-old debate of man versus machine. Hi, it's Dan from the Good Feet store, and let me ask you, would you let a robot cut your hair? Would you rely on an app to teach a kid to ride a two-wheeler? Let's face it, some things require the human touch. People come to us seeking a solution to foot, leg, and back pain after trying all kinds of things recommended by in-store machines or website blurbs. An impersonal, generic approach to solving a problem that's unique to you. No wonder they usually don't work. At the Good Feet store, you'll meet with an arch support specialist who will take the time to learn about your needs, your feet, your lifestyle, and then fit you from over 300 models and sizes of arch supports, designed for pain relief, better balance, and more comfort. See what we can do for you with a free fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one near you. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Everybody needs Good Feet.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's happening for Ram Truck Month?
We are very excited to be celebrating 75 years in business. And what better way to celebrate than helping you get the hard-to-find heavy-duty Ram you've been looking for less? Right now, you can save up to $8,000 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 2500 Tradesman Crew Cabs. And with California's biggest selection of new Ram trucks, you're sure to find the truck you need.
75 years. That's incredible, dude.
It all started with my grandpa and great-grandpa's dream, and it's grown over the years to where we've had a chance to serve tens of thousands of customers and show them there's something special about Hoblet you just can't get at those big city auto mall dealerships.
Come experience the difference at California's #1 Ram truck dealer. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
8,000 total net savings after 4,000 factory rebates and 4,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include 1,500 commercial bonus cash and 500 first responder bonus cash. Must be current member of eligible First Responder Association. 5 with this discount. See dealer for details.
This segment is brought to you by Aztec Solar. Skip the sales pitch. Calculate your solar savings at yourpowersavings.com.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube.
Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Joined by Brendan Nunez, Frankie Cardicelli, Sactown Sports Kings insiders. Fellas, how you doing?
Good. I was gonna say good, not great, like The Office bit, but I'm actually doing pretty good. Like we were talking about, I think everyone that's been in the building so far today has asked how I'm feeling, how we're feeling, and my answer to everybody has been more optimistic than I was for the Warriors game, which I feel like could be a bad thing.
That's where I'm
just
at.
Based on how things have gone with the Kings this year. But I do think that the fact that the Kings have not won a single game against the Pelicans this year, it really is kind of just driving this thought into my head that they can't lose 6 in a row in the same year. Which I don't know if you guys have seen or if you read it already, how long it's been since the team has lost 6 not playoff games to a single opponent. According to the NBA's write-up today about the Kings and Pelicans, New Orleans would make history with the win, marking the first time since 1994 a team finished 6-0 against a single opponent ahead of the playoffs.
How did that even happen?
I don't know. 94 was a great year, by the way, but I have no idea. It does not say who it was, because I was telling Brendan, like, who could that have been? But the Kings, They can't be the first team in 30 years to be 0-6 against an opponent. I refuse to believe it.
Yeah. Brendan, how you feeling?
I'm excited, which is what we're going to keep rolling with for playing games, and will probably be how I always approach this, because you see Batum have a season high 20, Kobe White have a career high in that game, and it's just a good little reminder that anything can happen in one game.
How we feeling about the play-in? Do we like it? This is the Kings' first time ever in this thing. Obviously, like in terms of entertainment, I think it's serving its purpose, but how are we feeling about being in this whole play-in experience? Yay,
you got chefs in New Orleans who love them. They're looking for them.
That is so messed up.
He'll eat the table.
He's not even playing tonight.
That's why we got to get it in now.
I think it's like a matter of the Kings won, so of course I'm loving the play-in. The play-in's been great.
Sure.
I do think for the NBA, like the entertainment factor,
yes.
I think it depends purely on the teams that are in the game.
Right.
As we saw, viewership for Kings Warriors was the second most watched game of all time in the play-in. I'd imagine maybe the first play-in game was the first one. They didn't put it in the graphic.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was Warriors Grizzlies.
Warriors Lakers.
Warriors
Lakers.
Right? Warriors
that was
Lakers.
the first year there was a play-in, I think, right? Post COVID, it was Warriors Lakers. So I think that that part of it is important, but I had a great time the other night. It wasn't even a close game, but I feel like tonight, if we're seeing a close situation, it'll have like that true March Madness feel. So I'm a fan.
Where are you guys watching it? Oh, well, Brendan, we already asked you. You're grinding film at home.
Are you trying to invite me somewhere? Or what?
No. Jason asked the first time, not me.
Okay.
I'll be watching at home because I have a job to do. I'm super professional. I'll be writing. I'll be writing at home.
All right. Well, yeah. Recently as this morning, the line has flipped to the Pelicans. What is it, Chris? You said
1.5 Pelicans.
1.5 Pelicans. It
He'll
was recently.
eat the table.
It was recently 1.5 Kings, and that does make me feel better. Guys, am I making this up in my head that I feel more optimistic when the Kings are an underdog than when they are the favorite?
You might be making it up a little bit, but I get where you're coming from because this year that kind of was the case for the Kings. I wonder how much like previous trends matter in these sort of things, though.
You pulled something up the other day, I think, about when the Kings are favored or when they have like
favored
big
by
spreads.
10+,
and that's kind of thing. Maybe this isn't quite to that point, but I do feel like weirdly. I mean, it's just definitely like a superstitious thing. I'm not sure if it's actually like a fact or actual stat thing, but it does seem like the Kings when they're favored. To me, it feels like it, which I could be wrong, that things usually don't go their way.
They are 42, 39, and 1 this season against the spread.
Above
500.
About 500. Yeah. And what was it with the 10? Is that one on there? Or is that kind of hard to find? The
10.1 was a little tougher to find.
But you told me it was like
they had lost 3 of those games outright. I don't know what against the spread they are when they're favored by 10+, but yeah.
But it is weird that you look at that it moves. Like people are starting to kind of buy into the Pelicans again, and it's like, okay, maybe that's the way it should be because the Kings have been playing better with that underdog mentality. Because you saw with the ESPN picks too, how all those writers picked. I think it was 10-1. All
the Warriors.
And Andrew Lopez, I think.
Andrew Lopez, shout out
Andrew Lopez. The show. So I think that maybe the Kings are better as an underdog because last year they weren't really the underdog. They were the feel good story, and people maybe were looking at them as weak or a quote fraudulent team, and this year they're looking at it as an underdog, so I like it.
Yeah, and we heard from Keegan Murray a bit earlier as far as the preparation and really the difference between this season and last season, and I do think that they're in a weird spot where they're playing with house money for now, right? And we can discuss how far the Warriors win if it were to end tonight, how far the Warriors win will take them, but if they come out and it's a stinker, I think that the Warriors game goes out the window. If they come out and it's a really good game, as much as we would be sad that the season is over, at least you could say, all right, this team had their backs against the wall. They played tough, and ultimately the Pelicans just had their number. And, guys, one thing I want to get your take on is how would you level how the players are missing and the importance, right? Would you say that the Pelicans missing Zion is equal to the Kings missing Herter and Monk, or would you say that the Pelicans are actually missing a little bit less than the Kings? How would you break that down?
I mean, the Pelicans are definitely missing more than the Kings. And I feel like it's pretty easy.
You think it's that easy?
It's their best player.
I mean,
but that's it.
But think
it's
about
the Kings' 3rd best player and their 4th or 5th best player.
Right.
But from a matchup standpoint, like there's nobody, not one single person on the Kings that has proven they can slow down Zion. And even when he had a slow start in that game last week, he had 5 or 6 points at halftime, maybe a little more, but he was not a factor. The Kings were down by 5 or 6 at halftime. They were completely in the game. Zion just decided to take over the game, scored 17 in the 3rd quarter, finished with 31 points on the night. Kings lose by 12 or 15? Like he just completely changed the outcome of that game. So I feel like the Kings, where they're missing Kevin Herter, who could get on a heater, they're missing Malik Monk, who obviously is the next most important player that's missing in the game behind Zion, obviously. I feel like that's hard for the Pelicans to kind of if Zion wasn't even in that last game against the Lakers, what would have happened? Like if he went out in the 2nd quarter, Lakers might win that double digits. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Zion is such an unstoppable force with the Kings, and that doesn't mean that other players can't beat you, but I feel like the Kings have to be in a better spot than not just because he's not on the floor.
Yeah.
I feel like personally the Pelicans are a lot better suited to replace Zion than the Kings are to replace their guys who are missing. They get to replace Zion with Brandon Ingram, CJ, Trey Murphy steps into the starting lineup. Alvarado gets more minutes. I mean, Larry Nance, all those guys. The Kings are replacing replacing Malik and Herter with Keon Ellis, and I don't think they're using. Davion's getting more minutes, but
I think just more minutes for those forwards. Like they're getting more minutes from Keegan and Harrison and everyone else, really. But yeah, I agree with that point, though.
I think both can kind of be true at the same time. New Orleans does just have to play a little bit differently, but luckily for them, I know Zion played most of this year, but they're fairly accustomed to figuring out how to make it work without him.
If anything, it adds a little more intrigue or even a leveling. For this matchup, like a leveling of the playing field, it makes it more of an intriguing matchup because if Zion's playing tomorrow and healthy, it's like, I think the line is like Pelicans -7. I think we're all feeling a lot different. I think that we're all kind of feeling like, wow,
a lot more hope-based.
Hopefully the Kings can make it a game. And whereas tonight could still be a blowout. You never know how the game of basketball will go, but from a matchup on paper standpoint, it makes tonight a lot more intriguing.
Yeah, and going back to that Laker game, that was Brandon Ingram's first game back. They didn't really – they had to play him and get him back in the fold. He gets this extra day off in yesterday and now gets to play today. So the Zion thing is interesting because you haven't been playing with Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram is a guy who can take over a ball game, and we've seen every good version of the Pelicans, and we've seen that version with Brandon Ingram doing his thing and Zion not being a part of it. So you definitely can't sleep on it. I do think it's pretty darn close, which should make for a good matchup, but you got to go out there and you have to execute, right? And Chris and I were saying if they do lose, how much blame, it depends on what it looks like, but Mike Brown and that coaching staff to draw up something. I mean, you get 6 cracks at a team. You have to see something different. You have to throw them something different. We cannot see CJ McCollum shooting open shots. I don't know how it gets done, but I don't get paid to be a coach. You got to make sure that CJ McCollum isn't getting open shots. I promise you guys, if I got to hear CJ McCollum talk about how the Kings pass on him one more time, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it.
He for sure mentions it if they win, right?
Without a doubt.
It's been 10 years.
He has it written in his notes on his phone.
The 2013 draft.
He has that ready.
And
he has it ready.
And he's killed the Kings this year. He's put up
like
70% from three. And like about 70% of his points against the Kings have come from three because of that. He's less than 1 free throw attempt per game. Like, you need to limit CJ's threes specifically. I know he's a guy from the mid-range too. You live with mid-ranges from BI and CJ tonight. You can't have triples from CJ. And I look at Trey Murphy too.
You had mid-ranges that are stabilizers. We were talking about Valanciunas randomly making 3 stabilizers, and that's almost death by 1,000 cuts, right? But when you have the threes, those are the daggers that the Kings simply cannot allow. When we return, we talk about the keys to the game, and we take your calls for the guys. 916-339-1140. Stiles and Watkins with the Sactown Sports Kings Insiders. We'll talk to you soon.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy happiness. But money did buy your boat, where you find peace fishing, unlike at home with 3 teenage daughters. Because fish never argue about who stole whose crop top, or get mad the other fish used up all the hot water. No. They just swim around, never embarrassed to be seen with you in public. So save money by bundling your boat or RV insurance with home or auto from Progressive. And buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers, not available in all states.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
At Fasteners Inc., we believe adding quality power tools to your lineup shouldn't break the bank. That's why we're hosting the biggest Milwaukee tool sale of the year in Sacramento. On top of insane deals on Milwaukee power tools, all Milwaukee pack-out storage boxes, hand tools, and tool accessories will be 25% off. So come on down on April 27th to the Milwaukee Tool Sanity Sale at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet on Power Inn Road in Sacramento. For more info, visit fastenersinc.net.
Nighttime is the right time to track your golf ball's flight time at the Hagen Oaks Top Tracer driving range. It's more relaxed at night with people enjoying the Top Tracer technology where you can play Pebble Beach at Hagen Oaks. You can compete against your friends in a variety of games or just practice with the Top Tracer television technology. There's food when you're hungry from the Hangout food truck or enjoy a craft beer on the brand new patio with relaxed seating. And don't forget the summer-long free concert schedule. It's the Hagen Oaks driving range nightly until midnight, Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
ZZ Top, the Elevation Tour. Friday, May 3rd, 7:30 p.m., the venue at Thunder Valley with special guest, Fog Hat. Oh, I'm back. ZZ Top, playing all their classic hits. The venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
Hey, UC Davis fans, Aggie football season tickets are available now. Whether you're coming out to see the dynamic, fast-paced offense under new head coach Tim Plow and All-American running back Land Larison, or bringing the kids out to roll down the grass hills and run on the field at halftime's more your speed, UC Davis Football Games has something for everyone. Secure your 6 Saturday games now with a season ticket package by calling the ticket office at 530-752-2471 or go online at ucdavisaggies.com/tickets. Go Ags!
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
He'll eat the table. You got chefs in New Orleans who love him. They're looking for him.
DJ Bedhead, Nate, you could flip that over the weekend.
Eat the table.
Oh. He'll eat the table.
That's even the word is out.
The word is out.
The table.
Kind of sounds a little bit like that Steve Kerr remix, you know?
Yeah, the table. Wow, well, he's up. Brendan, what did you sign up for, buddy? Joined by Brendan Nunez and Frankie Cardicelli, featuring DJ Bedhead. And we are discussing the Kings, Pelicans. That's Nate, by the way. Kings, Pelicans, keys to the game, guys. And obviously, you have to contain CJ McCollum. But deeper than the keys to the game, after the fourth loss, we knew what the keys to the game were. Yes, Zion played in that game. But how do they execute the keys to the game? How do they make it look the way it's looked against almost every other team these last 10 games besides, well, the Celtics and then the Pelicans?
Yeah, I mean, I think their formula is the same thing it's been really since it feels like Malik went down, and these were already points of emphasis, but just increased since those injuries, is playing physical defense. It's obviously something we saw against the Warriors where they were easily the more physical team and in control that way. Going to be a lot harder against the Pelicans, who are a tough team with a lot of length and size. And then the possession game, you know, the Pelicans turn over their opponents a lot. And I think not giving them those easy points is going to help your defense. Offensive rebounds a big part of this as well. Frankie was pointing out some of the rebounding numbers that can be a little weird because Kings missed a lot of shots and Pelicans didn't. So that's going to factor into some of these rebounding numbers. But I keep going back to physical defense in the possession game, really.
I feel like when you're looking at across the board, that like the numbers across the board from these matchups, the good news to me, which I guess is bad news in retrospect, but the good news going forward is the Kings have gotten outplayed in every single category, meaning that they're going to take a step forward in one of them. And I feel like the step forward, like getting out rebounded, out assisted, outscored, outshot, everything has been the Pelicans' way. But this is a different team. This is a much different looking Kings team than we've seen the Kings play the Pelicans throughout the season. Even that kind of reflected itself in the last week when they played a close game until Zion decided to take over. But the rebounds to me are going to be huge. 47.2 rebounds to 33.8 during these 5 games. The Pelicans have a almost 14 rebound advantage. I feel like the Kings have proven that they can control games like they did against Golden State. I think they had 10 offensive rebounds in the first half, creating second chance points. I think the 3-point shooting will obviously be a key. When a team shoots 50% from 3 against you 2 times in one season, 45% or higher in 4, that's absurd. I feel like there's going to be as Jason Ross and I like to joke about, a market correction. That's right. A little bit. There's got to be a market correction. Like that's going to be an insane storyline if a team shoots 50% from the 3 again. So I'm looking at the rebounds. I'm looking at the 3-point shooting. Those to me are big areas for the team. And that's outside of individual performances, obviously. But those are the areas I'm looking at tonight.
On the New Orleans side, besides Ingram and McCollum, who would you say their X factor is? Or I guess, just besides Ingram and McCollum, who's the guy that you're looking at to say, if he wins his matchup, things might get a little dicey?
I'd probably go Trey Murphy. I think that there's a decent chance that he's the one assigned to Keegan, and that's a big matchup. I think that Trey obviously is the one I'm expecting, and most people are to move into that starting spot.
Sure.
In Zion's absence, he shoots really well. As a starter this year, he's played 23 games, 16 points in those games. He's efficient.
He was pulling.
He had a 20-plus point game in that one, and hit some really timely shots. And the closeout 3-point defense, I think that's where you're going to feel some of this length from New Orleans, is that these high releases from a Trey Murphy. You really got to be on point with your closeouts. So that's definitely a big one I'm looking at here.
Yeah, I agree with Trey Murphy. I'm looking at his splits here. 18 points per game on 50% shooting from the field, 46 from 3. And that's the most points per game against any opponent he has faced more than 3 times. So looking at him, I think one of the big things about the last time the Kings and Pelicans played was those other guys, like Jose Alvarado's another guy that you don't want to let people to get hot that normally would not be determining the outcome of a game. And the Kings let a lot of guys step up and do that. So I feel like, to me, if you can slow down or take one of CJ or Brandon Ingram out of the game, take one of them out of the game and make them uncomfortable, I think there's a pretty good chance that you're not going to get a big performance from someone else like that. But the Kings have to make sure that they pressure the 3-point line. That's where they make their living. I know that point paints are also a factor. I think Brendan had some numbers in the points in the paint too. But the Pelicans have killed the Kings this year in 3-point shooting. It really has been a key determining factor in every game. So if the Pelicans get going from 3 again, I feel like it's going to be a bad night. But hopefully they can defend the perimeter a little better tonight.
Real quick too, the one thing I haven't heard anybody talk about is the fact that the Kings had 3 different times in that Warriors game where they fouled 3-point shooters. Steph had the 4-point play. Moody had 3 free throws, and then Alex Len had the one where he got the flagrant foul. Is that just a product of them selling out on defending the 3? And is that something that we might need to worry about tonight too?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a part of it, like on these closeouts for the hot guys, right? The good shooters.
You got to fly out on those guys.
But it's not even flying past them. Like they still want you to close out really hard and land directly in front of them. That's really hard to do. And to not go a little too far. So I do think that it's one of those things where you're got to live with it a little bit.
Right.
But still, ideally, living with it means 1 every couple games rather than, 2 a game sort of thing, or 3 against the Warriors.
Yeah. And looking at Trey Murphy, he does worry me, but you have to pick your poison here. It was a really confusing game, that last game against the Pelicans. So Trey Murphy had 27 points. He was 6 of 12 from 3-point land. He was 7 of 14 from the field. He played 45 minutes. Zion had 31. Herb Jones had 5. We know he's out there to defend. He did have 6 assists because nobody was missing. Valanciunas had 13 points, 10 rebounds. CJ McCollum, 31 points, 9 of 12 from three-point land. And then on the bench, I mean, these were really the killers. It was Dyson Daniels finally figuring it out with 10 points, 2 of 5 from three-point land, and Alvarado with really timely threes, 4 of 6, 14 points. What's confusing is, and the thing is, they just couldn't miss. When a team scores 135 points, it's going to be tough. But offensively, not a ton to worry about. Sabonis had 18. Harrison Barnes had 22. Keegan had 19. De'Aaron had 33. You only got 5 from Keon, but you couldn't stop anybody anyway. That was the issue. And you got 5 from Keon, but you did get 13 from Davion. So the scoring wasn't the issue. And even though the Pelicans have a pretty darn good defense, scoring wasn't the issue. That was old school Kings. We're going to try to outscore you. And eventually they couldn't.
Yeah. Like the offense was completely fine that game. You score 120 plus points. The Kings record in those games this year, it's been, I mean, I know their winning percentage is like over 780. Like they win like 80% of their games when they shoot or when they score 120 points. And it comes back to the defense. I think that what we saw against the Warriors, there was a lot of other writers around Twitter just saying how impressive the Kings rotations were. They were on point. Like they were taking away the lob at the basket. They were closing out on defenders. They were right there where they needed to be. They weren't there against the Pelicans. And again, when you give guys like even Dyson Daniels that much space, who's by all means not a 3-point shooter, we've talked about before how these are NBA players. We've seen JaVale McGee knock down 10, 12 3-pointers in a row in practice. If you give an NBA player an open look, there's a very good chance they're going to knock it down. But the Pelicans I'm looking at it. I don't know if you guys already read this percentage, if you looked at the preview or not, but 40%. I'm looking at keeping them under 40%. When the Pelicans shoot over 40%, they are 26-8. That's a 77% winning percentage. So if you can keep them below that mark, you have a much better chance of winning, which again, keeping a team below 40% should not be that much to ask for, but for the Kings, it kind of is.
Yeah. I mean, they shot 55 last game. So.
And the Kings have the 29th ranked 3-point defense in the league.
Sure do.
Right.
And the Pelicans are the 4th best percentage, but they are 24th in attempts. If you get a night where Dyson Daniels and Jose Alvarado combine for 6 threes, that's a tough one, you know?
Right. Well, because what we saw in last game is the Kings weren't running them off the line. They were, because of Zion and pulling in that defense, you had to give up something, and that's why CJ and a bunch of guys had open shots. Brandon Ingram, and I'm right there with you, Frankie. If Brandon Ingram wants to cook from mid-range all day, just put him on an island with Keegan and say, Keegan, just do your best, because you cannot send help. I'm not sending help on a mid-range jump shooter to give up a 3. Not the way they've been shooting. And it dang sure won't be on CJ McCollum. That cannot happen. It cannot happen. When we return, even though the Kings balled out against the Warriors, what could they improve on to make sure they get the W in tonight's game? And what are you most worried about going in to the showdown in New Orleans? Stiles and Watkins with the Sactown Sports Kings Insiders coming right back.
It took 4 quarters of locked-in effort, intensity, and focus to knock out the Golden State Warriors.
Darn Shakes trying to create a step back, and he scores it. Boy, you talk about earning a bucket. Steve Kerr will take time out.
Now the Kings head to Louisiana to see if they can take another win-or-go-home game. Kings and Pelicans, Friday at 6:30, right here on your home for the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same.
But at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee, structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BC. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hi, everyone. It's Emron Pilati, host of the True Sports Card Show here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday at 10 a.m. Would you like a chance to meet Ricky Henderson, Dennis Rodman, Johnny Manziel, Randy Johnson, Frank Thomas, Vlad Guerrero Sr., Dave Stewart, and our favorite Malik Monk, and meet over 90 sports card dealers all in one weekend? This is your chance to do it on May 17th through the 19th at the Roseville Fairgrounds at the Sacramento Autograph Expo. You can get all the information about the show on our website at sacautograph.expo.com. That's sacautograph.expo.com.
You've been waiting all winter for the snow to melt and the golf course to awaken. It's time for your long-awaited spring golf getaway to Plumas Pines Golf Resort in beautiful Gray Eagle, California. The timing is perfect to take advantage of Plumas Pines Spring Special. You can walk the course for $75 or ride for $90, available 7 days a week through May 23rd. Beneath towering pines adjacent to the Feather River, Plumas Pines Golf Resort offers a spectacular round of mountain golf. You'll love the grandeur of the Sierra, the calmness of Gray Eagle, and the wonderful test of golf at Plumas Pines with spring special rates of $75 to walk and $90 to ride 7 days a week until May 23rd. Make your reservation at plumaspinesgolf.com. Whether you visit for the day or stay a few days, Plumas Pines Golf Resort will make your play memorable. Visit plumaspinesgolf.com and make your tee time reservations for the spring special rates available 7 days a week. That's plumaspinesgolf.com. Whether you prefer thrills or serenity, the 2024 Accord from Elk Grove Honda delivers both. With Honda Sensing Standard, the 2024 Accord is once again a winner of the 2024 Car and Driver's 10 Best Cars, making Honda the winningest brand in car and driver award history. Drive a 2024 Accord Hybrid and see for yourself what the fuss is all about. We're Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Everybody needs Good Feet.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Joined by the two hardest working men in the digital media space for the Sacramento Kings. Frankie Cardicelli and Brendan Nunez. Getting ready for just an exciting night, guys. Friday Night Lights. You know what I mean? Hopefully a Friday night beam, and you get to avenge the 5 losses that you've had to the same team. It's time. Frankie, I'm looking you in the eye right now.
I know, but I keep thinking about Friday Night Lights because that's a football reference.
Well, there's lights in an arena.
Did you like the show or the movie more?
Oh, whoa. Ooh. Man, that's tough. You know Michael B. was in that.
Of course, he got a star in that show. Well, like not a star, he was in The Wire as well.
Yes.
But he his role in Friday Night Lights like propelled him into movie stardom.
I'm gonna have to go with the movie, but
Okay,
they're both outstanding.
I disagree.
Yeah, we're from a different.
Clear eyes, full hearts. Can't lose.
There you go. We actually have that in our.
We're a different generation.
Chris and I have that in the green room. We have our version of that.
Were you a senior in high school? A senior in high school when I was a freshman. We're not this different generation.
I don't know. There's no ageism here. As we get ready for the Kings and Pelicans, we've discussed the keys to the game, and now, guys, let's get into. Even though the Kings played really well against the Warriors, there were some things that could worry you a bit. No game is perfect. And one thing that I wanted to get your take on that I'm a bit worried about is obviously Keon had a great game. There's a lot of pressure there could be a lot of pressure on Keon to have another great game. And Keegan Murray had a really good game. And all the starters played really well. I am worried a little bit about the bench for the Kings. Trey Lyles, a bit of a quiet game. And then you had Davion, who it seems like that jump shot has cooled off a little bit. If Keon didn't shoot the way he shot, if Keegan, and look, that's what your starters are supposed to do, but I don't know that we can confirm that they're going to do that every single night. And I am a little bit worried about the production or lack thereof as far as what we've seen from specifically, because those are the two guys now in Trey Lyles and Davion Mitchell.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I mean, I think that also you could look at those and argue that you could see them having better nights, but there is a heavy reliance on the starters. And sure, Keegan had a good game, but I think you look at De'Aaron and Domas, and you can get more out of those guys. You know, I think that De'Aaron 24, 6-4, like that's fine. That's about his average. You know, that's not a big Fox game. And I think that we're subject to one of those potentially tonight, just like I thought we were in that Warriors game. And Domas falls into the same. So there's other production that you can get from other places. And I weirdly more look at like the Trey and Davion thing. And yes, the Kings don't have a great bench. It's really 7. I'm curious if they go Alex tonight or Trey Lyles at that backup 5. But I think I look at that as you could get better production from those guys tonight.
Would that be like the worst thing in the world if they went defense, like a priority of defense, and put in Kessler to like go get CJ or Brandon Ingram in those minutes? Or do you think that Alex Len would still be the best move to bring off the bench?
I would probably go Trey Lyles backup 5 if it's Larry Nance Jr. on the floor. If it's still Valanciunas and that's how the rotation works, then you'd go Alex in my mind. But like, I don't know. To me, Kessler or Chris Duarte, like if you're going to that for defense, is if other guys aren't working, which probably is not a great sign in the first place.
Right. Yeah, no, I just think that's a great question because we don't really know. I mean, Mike's shortened the rotation incredibly small here recently. And I think, you know, Alex kind of got on the floor a little bit the other day, but for all intents and purposes, it was pretty much a 7-man rotation. And, you know, I think some people were wondering, like, are we going to see Duarte in here? Are we going to see Kessler in here? Maybe Sasha gets some time. Who knows how the game script ends up going. I don't know. I mean, I think I tend to agree with Brendan. If they're going to go small, it allows you to go small. But at the same time, we've also seen Alex has really killed a lot of those lineups that have smaller guys. You know, he loves to tip the ball out. And, you know, Brendan talked earlier and a lot about how Mike Brown talks all the time about winning the possession battle, and getting offensive rebounds is huge. The fact the Kings didn't get offensive rebounds or didn't get killed in the offensive rebound department against Golden State, we know how important that was in that series. So maybe you could think the same kind of logic today, but I think ultimately we don't know what Mike Brown's going to do with these rotations right now.
It might all be a part of like the flow of the game too. Like they might go out there with that same 8, and Alex has done a pretty good job of, I feel like his defense has been pretty good. I think that was a bad foul that he had in that flagrant. I mean, obviously it's just in the moment the game happened so quick, but I do think that if it is Larry Nance out there and you have Valanciunas and Nance, I would not be surprised to see Alex Len go out there first, but I feel like it could be a matter of which Mike has done before. You see Alex Len in the first half. If it doesn't work, Trey Lyles is your backup 5 for the second half, and Alex doesn't come back in. We've seen that happen a lot during Mike Brown's time here. But I also, just from a minute standpoint, I feel like this is the kind of night where we might see 3 guys play 40 minutes. We might see Fox, Sabonis, and Keegan Murray play 40 minutes.
It's
Maybe
money time.
Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, it's money time. Speaking of, this is from the 916. 916, are you a double agent? Harrison Barnes is due for another disappearing act tonight. 916, are you a double agent? Come on, 916. We're not doing that today.
Not doing that today.
We do need to see Harrison Barnes and some level of production, though. I mean, I guess it is unfair for me to say, guys, I'm sitting here and I'm worried about Davion and Trey Lyles who come off the bench, and I haven't even addressed Harrison Barnes yet, who the reason 916 is saying this is because Harrison did play well, 17 points against the Warriors. He put together that stretch during the revenge tour when it was the Warriors, the Mavs, and one other team that he balled out against. But how much should we expect out of Harrison, and how much should we expect out of Harrison Barnes? I mean, when he plays well and plays at a high level, which he did play well against the Pelicans the last time, it just wasn't enough because he was guarding Zion for some of it, and we know that's not going to be a winning recipe.
If we're going off track record, I have good news.
Eat the table.
Not that, but I have good news. Harrison Barnes against the Pelicans this year, 5 games, 14.8 points per game.
Talk to me.
3.5 boards, 49% from the field. And here's the good one, 42% from 3.
We got a guy too.
This might be his best opponent. This might be the best he's played against an opponent he's played 3 or 4 times this year. Like, I'm seeing a lot of, and this is a guy that's averaging 12. He's outperforming his season averages against the Pelicans this year. So that, if you had to chalk it up to feeling good about an HB game, who knows what'll happen, but the numbers reflect that he has played well against the Pelicans this year for whatever reason that may be.
This is why Frank Facts. This is why we do Frank Facts. This is live. You're getting live Frank Facts in the flesh now.
He's got 5 straight, he's got 5 straight games of over 10 points in those 5 games. Second longest streak of the season so far. And looking at his games against the Pelicans, 16, 22, did have a 4-point outing, 10 and 22. Those are good Harrison Barnes numbers.
I feel like we talk about, again, all the time how HB, 6'8", 225. He brings that physicality. It's a player that, for a team that is the whole starting 5 is 6'7" or taller outside of McCollum, I think that he kind of is the Kings, like, he equalizer. Like, he's a guy that they kind of maybe have a tougher time to slow down versus guys like Kevin Huerter when he was healthy, De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk. HB is a guy that probably gets in the paint and he can kind of go up against those stronger players, the stronger defenders, and make them work a little harder. So I think that maybe that's why. But this is a team that we've seen get very physical with the Kings, and they have length. They make the Kings uncomfortable. So HB, good numbers against the Pelicans. I did not expect it either.
I think I had it backwards earlier. I think I said that Keegan is who I'd expect on Trey, but I was watching back the non-Zion game, and I think I had that wrong. It's HB, at least in that game, that was on Trey Murphy.
Okay.
And then Keegan on Brandon Ingram. And that HB Trey Murphy one, we talked about how Trey Murphy can be an X factor. Harrison Barnes is kind of the definition of an X factor, just from the aspect of you don't know what you're getting any given night. So definitely a matchup to watch there. And sure, he's played better, but I don't love relying on HB. I hesitate. He's so hard to predict what's going to happen here. Like, I feel, especially after that last Keegan game, like I feel like that Keegan's going to get shots up, and same with De'Aaron and Domas. After that, who else is going to show up?
Well, let's say Keegan starts off the game 1 of 7.
Yeah.
Oof, let's not.
Why would you? Let's not. I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
HB's got to be that next guy up in line. I mean, you know that Fox and Sabonis are going to have to be, they're going to be doing what they're doing. I mean, that they're not, obviously they have to step up more, but the next guy in line is HB. So like if Keegan struggles early, they might look to HB a little more like they did during that 4 or 5 game stretch where he had crazy high volume and was scoring 20 plus points per game, the 39 point game in Golden State. We could see a similar workload if Keegan's struggling early, because there is no Malik Monk to come in and bail out a tough start from the starting 5. Like, they need to find someone like we saw against Golden State. That was all starting 5. And Davion Mitchell has been chipping in. He knocks down some threes. He's been shooting great from 3. Trey Lyles has been a guy that's usually getting his 7, 8, 9 points per game. Expecting much more is I wouldn't say realistic, but he's had big games before. But
yeah, that's true.
That's HB though. HB's next on that list. Where if you have Fox and Sabonis doing what they're doing, Sabonis has not been great against Valanciunas in the paint. Keegan's been someone who's been streaky at times. You got to look for Harrison Barnes to get in the paint or knock down open shots.
I do think that like what I feel comfortable asking Harrison to do is take open threes, like you're saying. Do not pass up looks. He's been guilty of that before, to the point where they shoot 53s and Mike Brown's really hung up about the one that he passed up.
Right.
But that, and HB's really good for scoring 8 points in 5 minutes. Right. You know, hitting 2 threes, getting to the line once or twice, and helping slow down New Orleans momentum. Give me 1 quarter, half quarter of like, that was really good from HB.
Stabilizer, a Band-Aid, anything you want to call him. That could be something that, hey, with still a young team, and even though they have experience from last season, still a young team, and HB, this is why they brought you in here. This is why they pay you for what you do on the court, what you do off the court, but how you produce and how you keep everybody in the right headspace, because you are that vet on the team that plays legitimate minutes. So I think it's a big night for HB. It's got to be a big night for him, the starters, and if any of the starters are cold, yeah, hopefully Trey is in that mode, or hopefully Davion is in that mode, because that was the part of the stretch that I don't think we found as realistic when they were blowing those leads to the Knicks and to the Thunder, because, all right, Davion is shooting the lights out here. What we saw against the Warriors was more realistic, but if you don't have 32 from Keegan and you don't have 15 from Keon, you have to get that production somewhere else. All right, one more segment with our guys, the Sactown Sports Kings insiders. We get their predictions. Also, Kings win if ... Hop in, text line, call line 916-339-1140 with your Kings win if as well. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The New Orleans Pelicans have absolutely owned the Sacramento Kings this season. Sacramento seeking its first win against New Orleans and needs it or their season comes to an end. A loss and it's over. A win and they are the 8th seed and headed to OKC.
The rebound grabbed by Sabonis, hammers it back off the bounce. Another offensive rebound and another 2 points. The Kings have their biggest lead of the ball game.
Get all the exciting play-by-play action starting at 6:30 Friday night on Sactown Sports.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Dirk Verdorn in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. And after a few clouds this morning, expect plenty of sunshine this afternoon, with temperatures warming into the mid to low 80s and winds staying light from 5 to 10 miles per hour. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
The 2024 Accord is once again a winner of the 2024 Car and Driver's 10 Best Cars, making Honda the winningest brand in car and driver award history. Come drive it. We're Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
He'll eat the table.
One more segment with our guys who will be watching the game in darkness at their spots. Just grind and film, and hopefully it's a W and a Friday night beam. All right. Kings win if ... Let's start with Brendan.
Yeah, this one's a tough one. I definitely want to look at the threes, but I think I'm going to go with if they score more points in the paint than the Pelicans. Okay. And keeping it fairly simple in this one, but you look at their first 3 matchups, and the Pelicans destroyed them in the paint. 64 points in the paint, New Orleans, 40 for the Kings. 62 points in the paint, New Orleans, 28 for the Kings. 52 for New Orleans, 38 for the Kings. And the two most recent matchups were closer. Only one of them did favor the Kings, though. New Orleans scores really well from inside the paint, and I think that limiting those guys will be pretty important.
Which one? What was the breakdown of the other game without Zion? I mean, they lost by 30 points. So.
Yeah, I believe that was the December game. Do you know if that's right, Frank? It is, right? I'm pretty sure.
I think so, yeah.
It was 133 to 100.
Yeah.
That's January. Oh, the one with Zion did not play? January 7th.
Okay. That was 48 points in the paint for New Orleans, 44 for the Kings. So closer there.
Yeah.
Closer there.
There you go. All right. Frankie?
I'm looking at 3-point shooting. I feel like that's going to be the key tonight. Both these teams have loved to let the three fly this year. I mentioned the Pelicans when they shoot 40%. They win nearly 80% of those games. The Kings, close to that. When the Kings shoot over 35%, this whole year it's been 35. I'm looking at the rule of 35. If the Kings shoot over 35% this year, over 47 games, they have a 33-14 record. That is a 70% winning percentage. So very good things happen when they knock down 35% or more. So I'm looking there. If the Kings can again take out one of CJ or Ingram, I do feel like it's going to be very hard for the Pelicans to win without having that safety net of Zion, who they could kind of just dump it into if they need to go on a run, which he did time and time again. When the Pelicans and Kings were in a close game, Zion would just take over and go beast mode like he did at Golden One Center a week ago. So I'm looking at the 3-point shot tonight. But again, like Brendan pointed out, there's a lot of areas that the Kings need to improve on because they've been getting beat in every category by the Pelicans. So they'd have to change a lot of things. But 3 is top of my list.
Is it my turn?
It's
I'm
your
going
turn
as well. I'm going to go hit your open shots for the Kings. Looking at the numbers that they had against the Warriors on just open looks, which is 4 to 6 feet from the next defender, 4 of 11, 36%, which is pretty decent. But on the wide open, closest defender is 6 feet or more away. Kings were 13 of 27 against Golden State, hit 48% of those shots. And I'm looking at the only team that shot better than the Kings did in the play-in tournament was the Lakers, 11 of 20 on wide open opportunities. Kings have to capitalize on those. We've seen so many times, especially in that second half, that third quarter, Kings come out incredibly flat, just miss wide open opportunities. And we know how much different of a team these guys are if they don't make shots. If they don't make shots, everything else starts to leak. And you just can't have that when when your season is on the line.
Yeah, and
spray threes.
Yeah, spray threes. I mean, this is it, right? This is it. You know what this team is going to try to do to get you off your game. Can you overcome? From Muhammad Kampara on the Sack Chat, Kings win if they out-rebound the Pelicans.
Also agree with that.
I like that.
I agree with that too. I mean, the rebound discrepancy was, to me, like 3-point shooting is one thing. Like letting them shoot 45% from 3 or 50% in 2 of those games is one thing, but allowing them to out-rebound you 47 to 33 on a team that has Domantas Sabonis is insane. But I feel like that happens a lot in those games where it's Sabonis getting 15, 16, 17 rebounds, right, and other guys aren't crashing. Like Keegan Murray, if Keegan Murray and Harrison Barnes combine for 6 rebounds, that's not a formula for success, in my opinion. They need to be crashing in every possession because Keegan Murray has shown he can be a very good rebounder. He was a double-double guy in college. This is not NCAA, obviously, but we saw this last game, 9 rebounds. He was crashing. Harrison Barnes was a good rebounder the first 4 or 5 years he's been in Sacramento. This year, he's taken a step back, I think, because he's been more of a perimeter threat than a guy that's crashing the boards. But everyone needs to be active crashing the glass tonight because the Pelicans, Valanciunas poses a problem, and obviously you have other guys that can get in there as well. But that is an area that for sure needs to be improved on. And also, I'd say getting to the line, like attack the paint. I know that the paint points or the paint defense doesn't bode well for the Kings, but put pressure on them. Like try to get Valanciunas into foul trouble, get Herb Jones into foul trouble if he's on De'Aaron Fox tonight. See De'Aaron Fox be
that's a Harrison Barnes thing.
That too, but even what De'Aaron Fox is doing, and I think Brendan and I talked about it. Like I said that's where Fox lives when he gets in the paint and he's knocking down that 10, 12 footer near the top of or 15 footer at the top of the free throw line. That's where he's made his living the past couple of years. So if he can do that and get that going early, not rely on the 3 ball as much, that could be huge for the Kings offense as well.
I'm curious, do you guys think, so Sabonis last game, had 16, 12, and 7 or something like that?
I got you right here. Yeah, he had 18 points. He had 10 rebounds, and he only had 4 assists.
So is that, I'm saying last game against the Warriors.
Oh, I thought you meant
Chris's line.
Gotcha.
Chris's line is right. 16,
okay,
12, and 7.
That's right.
I'm wondering, do you think Sabonis can be worse than that in the Kings win. Does Sabonis need to reach those numbers and win, or does he need to be better than those numbers and win?
I mean, I think that the one turnover is a really big part of that night as well, to get 7 assists and only 1 turnover in there. Like, that's pretty valuable. New Orleans turns other teams over just as well as about anybody in the league.
I'm more saying
I would want more.
Yeah.
I would want more, but I think
better.
they could survive without him being better.
If you're shooting from 3 like you did against Golden State, I think you're going to win regardless. If you're shooting 45% from 3, as we've seen on the other side, the Pelicans, if the Kings do that, they're going to be in a very good spot. But I feel like it's got to be one of those nights where it's your stars kind of carry you. Like, to me personally, like, if my key of the game, like who I'm looking at the most, it's De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis tonight. I'm just looking at those guys. I think we can hope for Harrison Barnes to have a big night. We can hope for the bench to have a good night, but those two guys, like, this is their time. This is why they're the franchise corner pieces. This is why they're under contract for what they have. This is their moment to prove that they belong in that category of all-stars, all-NBA, what have you. Put the Kings in the playoffs. This is that time right now. You need more out of both those guys.
Right, yeah, because, I mean, 16, 12, and 7 for Jonas Valanciunas is incredible. They're probably going to do a whole segment tomorrow on New Orleans radio if he goes 16, 12, and 7. That's an average Domas night. You need more than that.
We can't have that be the narrative. Like, the last year it was Looney and Sabonis. We can't have Valanciunas, and they're countrymates.
Yeah,
they're going to be in the Olympics, I think, this summer. I don't think Sabonis wants to hear about that all summer. The ESPN, did we talk about the ESPN predictions came out?
Oh, man.
ESPN published their predictions. I don't know if anyone out there saw for Kings Warriors. I think it was 11-1. The Warriors and writers for the website, they predicted that the Warriors would win. Today, I'll just go ahead and I don't think I should list them all out. I'll just go ahead and say what it is. ESPN writers, there's 12 of them. 10 of those 12 writers have said that the Sacramento Kings will win tonight's play-in, which I'm reacting the same way.
10 out of how many?
12.
No.
Is there a blurb after? No, it's just straight picks.
No blurb. Okay. No blurb. It's just play-in tournament. There's a lot of Kendra Andrews, Tim Legler, Tim McMahon, Bobby Marks,
who didn't
Mark
pick
Spears,
the Kings?
Who did not pick the Spears? Kendra Andrews.
Really?
Yes.
ESPN.
Jorge Sedano. I think he covers the Pelicans, though, doesn't he, for ESPN?
I think Miami. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's it.
He's down there.
Mark Spears. love Sacramento Kings. Mark Spears gave him a vote.
Yeah, he picked the Warriors last time. Yep, we don't forget.
Ramona Shelburne picked the Kings. Tim Legler, who I feel like has been pretty down on the Kings, picked Sacramento. So
they beat the Warriors, so now they're the hot team.
That's right.
Good.
Yeah, how much do we take from these one games? This is one game we're talking about, you know, and I feel like the whole tune has changed for both of these teams. I know New Orleans kind of limped into their play-in, but the Kings were not playing very great. I think it was 2-5 in their last 7. Mm-hmm. And then they win this game, and it's like, oh, everybody feels great. And I kind of am with that, but I can't help but notice that it's weird, you know, and I feel like, are we overreacting?
We're not, because we watch the Kings every day. National media doesn't watch the Kings every day. They just saw that Warriors game.
Right.
I think we'll know very early.
I agree with that.
But the thing, and on the other side, as that left my mouth, I was like, well, the Kings took a 20-point lead on the Knicks and the Thunder, but I don't know. I just feel like on a road game in a game like this, I think we'll be able to tell pretty early, because you could feel it against Golden State with the pressure on that
physicality.
It was going to be a special night.
And that's what I asked. I asked Whitey, how Coach Mike Brown at the time had said, hey, this is good for us. And a lot of Kings fans didn't love that he said that, but if you're going to blow leads, and obviously it's kind of weird because if you didn't blow those leads, maybe you're not in the play-in, but they blew those leads, and maybe now
even one of them you're maybe not playing.
Yes, I know. But now you can say, hey, we've been there. We got through Warriors. We didn't blow the lead against that team. If we do get up, we have a better understanding of how to get this done against a Pelicans team who doesn't. They shoot a high percentage, but they don't shoot that many threes, especially if you can run them off the line. All right, Frankie Cardicelli, Brendan Nunes, thank you so much. Roundtable will return regardless.
Yes, off-season or for Kings Thunder.
Yes, but we will
for Kings Thunder.
It'll be Kings Thunder.
Final predictions?
Let's go to OKC, man.
There you go.
118-112 Kings.
OKC is beautiful this time of year. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khtk.com.
Slightly Stupid. Live in concert. Saturday, April 27th, 7:30 p.m. The venue at Thunder Valley. With special guest Fortunate Youth. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss Slightly Stupid live.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Tug Shed, New Dawn Treatment Centers, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton & Price in your corner. When you call Ashton & Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Ram Truck Month?
We are very excited to be celebrating 75 years in business by doing what we do best, helping you get the truck you need for less. Right now, save up to $11,000 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs. And with over 500 new Rams available, you won't find a better selection in all of California.
Wow, 75 years? That is amazing.
It all started with my grandpa and great-grandpa's dream, and it's grown over the years to where we've had a chance to serve tens of thousands of customers and show them there's something special about Hoblet you just can't get at those big city auto mall dealerships.
Come experience the difference at California's #1 Ram truck dealer. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
11,000 total net savings after 5,000 factory rebates and 6,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include 2,000 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Must finance through Chrysler Cap to qualify. 500 first responder bonus cash. Must be current member of eligible first responder association. More than 5 of the total net savings. See dealer for details.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T level is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They're in Midtown in the Cal Sutter Medical Building and also offer telemedicine appointments. Plus, with free shipping directly to you, Revive takes the hassle out of treating low T and ED. Schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation today. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This segment is brought to you by Aztec Solar. Skip the sales pitch. Calculate your solar savings at yourpowersavings.com.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Thank you to Frankie Cardicelli and Brendan Nunez. You know, Chris, I didn't get to give my Kings win if.
Yeah, no, that's what I was waiting for it.
You know, you had to do the predictions. Yeah. I really did want to do the predictions. All right, I was kind of torn because
this is your Kings win if.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn because there could be other reasons, right? And they could still lose if something happens. But I do feel, and I was struggling with the number here, but I do feel like the Kings win if Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum combine for less than 45.
That seems like a good number.
50 seemed like too much. 20 seemed like too little or not realistic. But if you can keep them under 45, I think the Kings win.
You definitely have a lot better of a chance. Because that requires somebody else having a career night, right?
Yes, it's just a normal. That's a good night for Brandon Ingram, 25, and it's a human night for CJ McCollum, 20 points.
Right. Yeah. Human against the Kings at least.
Yes, human against the Kings.
I mean, and that's really just hold them to their averages, right? CJ's a 20-point per game scorer. Right. Brandon Ingram is a 20-point per game scorer.
That's it.
They can float around those numbers, but you can't let them do something out of the ordinary. And you're not going to be able to hold everybody to their averages, but make life tough on those two and see how the rest kind of trickles out. Does it affect, Jonas Valanciunas? Does it affect Trey Murphy? Does it affect Herb Jones? Name hasn't even been brought up. And I know he's not really much of a scorer he kind of was trending towards. It's exactly what he's lining up for. So, there's going to be something that the Kings sacrifice in this game. They're not going to be able to close all the holes and allow under 100. It'd be great. I'm not saying it's not possible, but that's not really something you can bank on. Who are you going to allow to beat you? I think is going to be the interesting thing because Herb's a great shooter. Trey Murphy's a great shooter. Maybe you let Brandon Ingram be a spot up shooter. I don't know, his difference of numbers in terms of spotting up versus off the dribble, but BI feels a little bit more like a dribble in, off the dribble shooter, not really in the complete flow of offense. Just make it tough on him really is easier said than done. But to me, the physicality is the key. You just can't let these guys have any amount of space. And I mention it all the time, but Doug Christie used to talk about all the time on these airwaves. Make them feel you, man. There should not be a possession where they drive and you don't at the very least have a hand on them, bumping them with your chest, with your hips. You just got to make sure they feel you defensively.
Who was it, Chris? I'm going through the stretch of games with Keon starting. And there was somebody specifically, and was it Luka? Maybe it was Luka, but I don't think it was Luka because I think it was Luka because Herter had already been out. I'm trying to remember, we were having a conversation and it was, we're going to see tonight if Keon can also guard a bigger guy. Mm-hmm. Was that guy Luka?
I don't think so. I do remember having that conversation. I can't remember who it was.
I don't think it was the Thunder.
No, I don't think it was the Thunder either. I can look at the schedule real quick.
It wasn't the Celtics. It wasn't the Clippers. It wasn't the Knicks.
It might have been the Clippers. It might have been us talking about Paul George.
But he got cooked, though. But he got cooked. They lost that game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember ever feeling like we had gotten yes, Keon can guard those guys. If anything, I definitely remember I remember talking about this will be a good opportunity to see if Keon could do it. I don't remember exactly which game it ended up being on and which opponent it was, but I do feel like the fact that we haven't really seen it since, we haven't seen him guard a lot of bigger guys here. Like they didn't throw him on Kuminga or anything like that. We just haven't seen it. I would think that Mike just likes Keon to get the guards and then maybe Keegan gets the forwards. It's going to be interesting to see. Yeah. Who do they single cover CJ with Keon today? Do they do what they did with Steph and put Keegan on CJ at first and kind of move things around? Or do they feel like because Brandon Ingram is such a good scorer, maybe we can't afford to take Keegan off of there? I would imagine Keon's probably going to get a lot of CJ McCollum. It feels like a bit of a waste to have him sit on the corner and guard a guy like Herb Jones. Trey Murphy, I think, is a little bit too big for him.
I was thinking about Brandon Ingram anytime on Brandon Ingram.
It could. It definitely could. It wouldn't surprise me. It's not like Brandon Ingram's super physical or strong or anything like that. Like he's a pretty skinny guy. I wouldn't worry too much about Keon like getting blown by or getting out muscled in that matchup.
Yeah, it's more about the wingspan and Brandon Ingram being a mini Kevin Durant once he gets into the air up there,
right.
and nobody can really defend that shot, and it's really a matter of whether he's going to go in or not. But it's a lesser version of that. Yeah, I'm just curious how many different looks they'll give Brandon Ingram. But again, I know he can, and I know Brandon Ingram can shoot threes. He just doesn't. That's not his go-to.
Yeah, he's a mid-range shooter. He's built like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. He's just looking to get to his spots and pull up and rise above people. And he's tall enough and got a long enough wingspan to where he can pretty much get to that shot whenever he wants. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes it so tough.
Right now, Brandon Ingram, and he has had some injuries. He's averaging 20.8 points a game, and he's shooting 35.5% from three.
That's not that great. That's definitely like the bottom end of high volume 3-point shooters. I don't know how many attempts is it per game. Definitely matters for him as well. And also, I mean, we're at the point too where we might need to look at individuals' numbers when Zion isn't out there, which I know has been less this season than in past seasons, but how do they usually pick up the slack? I know in years previous, Brandon Ingram has definitely been the guy that they turn to, but we also haven't seen with his injury, like how much do they really trust him? I mean, they pulled him in that Laker game. He didn't play the last 7 minutes of that Laker game the other day. I know yesterday's practice seemed to have gone well. Everyone said Brandon Ingram has looked as sharp as he has since returning from the injury, but does that mean that they're willing to play him go from 25 to 40 minutes and not only 40 minutes, but like having the ball in his hands a lot? I don't know. Maybe we are thinking too much about Brandon Ingram's impact when in reality he's pretty banged up and probably wouldn't have played in last game if it wasn't a do or die situation. And even then they really didn't trust him down the stretch. So maybe we're giving too much credit to Brandon Ingram. Maybe tonight will be more of a CJ McCollum game. Who knows? Maybe Valanciunas has had some pretty good games against Sabonis here, even though Sabonis himself has had some good numbers. Maybe they lean more into Valanciunas, who is a really good post player. Trey Murphy, we've talked about him.
We didn't see Larry Nance last game.
That's true. Yeah, Larry Nance we didn't see last game. How does he impact things? He's like their Trey Lyles without shooting. He does all the big man stuff and allows you to play a little bit faster. So it's definitely going to be a different game, I think, in a lot of different aspects for this one. And really, I don't know how much we can take, if at all, any of the previous matchups going into this one, just because this is such a particular case for these two teams. Like the Kings haven't had, even though they've played the Pelicans without Malik and Kevin, they haven't had to be in this kind of situation without those guys. The only other time we saw them was last game, and they played great. So it's kind of tough to try and figure out where my feelings lie. Mm-hmm. I feel like I go back and forth, and I feel like that's kind of how everybody's been this week.
When we return, we will hear from Pelicans head coach Willie Green on Brandon Ingram and what we can expect, also breaking down some stats and notes on the Pelicans, and we will break down at 1 o'clock the Western Conference playoffs. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings did it. They eliminated the Warriors and kept their season alive.
They swing it to Keegan, going for another one. He hits it from the line drive on the right wing. That's the 8th three-pointer that Keegan Murray has made in 13 attempts. He has 32 points.
Now, they need to do it again on Friday in New Orleans. Kings and Pelicans, Friday at 6:30 on your home of the Kings, Sactown Sports.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, You'll owe even more tomorrow, and it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Have you made a mistake in your past that you want removed from your record? At the Gonzalez Law Office, we know that good people make mistakes. Restore your rights. Clear your record. Call us at 916-304-9187. That's 916-304-9187 or at SacLegalDefense.com. Do you have a pending criminal case or injured in an accident? At the Gonzalez Law Office, we handle all criminal and injury cases. We don't settle for less, and neither should you. Call the Gonzalez Law Office at 916-304-9187 or visit us at SacLegalDefense.com.
The PGA Club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Hey there. Wanted to take a moment of your time so I could talk to you about insecurity. I could talk to you about confidence. I could talk to you about girth. Yeah, what? Girth? Yeah, okay. Let me tell you about the Upsize Clinic at UpsizeMatters.com. My good friend, Dr. Jack, and his friend, Dr. Pash in San Francisco, have a safe, effective, long-lasting doctor-performed procedure. It's non-surgical, virtually pain-free. Now listen, girth is consistently ranked as the most important attribute. What Dr. Jack and Dr. Pash are offering is a free consultation. The procedure can be done on the same day as your consultation and get that confidence back. Reset in the bedroom with your partner. Financing is available. It's very private. It's very discreet. Available in Roseville with Dr. Jack and San Francisco with Dr. Pash at UpsizeMatters.com. That's UpsizeMatters.com.
Seems like all this artificial intelligence stuff stirs up the age-old debate of man versus machine. Hi, it's Dan from the Good Feet store, and let me ask you, would you let a robot cut your hair? Would you rely on an app to teach a kid to ride a two-wheeler? Let's face it, some things require the human touch. People come to us seeking a solution to foot, leg, and back pain after trying all kinds of things recommended by in-store machines or website blurbs. An impersonal, generic approach to solving a problem that's unique to you. No wonder they usually don't work. At the Good Feet store, you'll meet with an arch support specialist who will take the time to learn about your needs, your feet, your lifestyle, and then fit you from over 300 models and sizes of arch supports, designed for pain relief, better balance, and more comfort. See what we can do for you with a free fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one near you. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Everybody needs good feet.
Hey, UC Davis fans, Aggie football season tickets are available now. Whether you're coming out to see the dynamic, fast-paced offense under new head coach Tim Plow and All-American running back Land Larison, or bringing the kids out to roll down the grass hills and run on the field at halftime's more your speed, UC Davis Football Games has something for everyone. Secure your 6 Saturday games now with a season ticket package by calling the ticket office at 530-752-2471 or go online at ucdavisaggies.com/tickets. Go Ags!
Maida Chevy saves you $10,000 off MSRP on every new 2024 half-ton Silverado, LT, RST, and LTZ in stock after rebate. Over 50 to choose from.
Exclusive all in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See deal for details. Ends 4/30/24.
You got chefs in New Orleans who love them. They're looking for them.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Time to open up the phone lines. 916-339-1140. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. How are you feeling about tonight? That tingling that you got? Haven't had it since last season, before game one, actually all throughout that playoff series, the emotions that you felt on Tuesday. It's been a while since you had those feelings, but they don't always end in good feelings, as you learned last season. But this is a new year. Got to win tonight to get into the playoffs. How confident are you in your Sacramento Kings to get it done? What do they have to do to get it done?
I got one. What do they got to do?
Oh,
Keep
Kings win if.
Yeah, Alvarado in single digits points.
Man,
don't let
that should be a given, though.
Hey, bro, the game should be a given, as everyone's saying. The word is out. The game should be a given. The word is out.
There are two things that I don't want. I can't have a Grand Theft Alvarado, a little steal, in the corner.
My mind.
And I cannot have CJ McCollum telling everyone that the Kings passed on him. Those two things will ruin my weekend.
It's going to happen, the McCollum thing. He's going to say it pregame.
Not if they win.
I don't know.
No, he's not going to say it in pregame.
I can't have my table get eaten.
Well, that's not going to happen.
He'll eat the table.
He won't be at the game, so I guess you never know.
He won't be there at all?
Maybe.
No, he'll definitely be there.
Oh, okay.
He'll definitely be there.
Like,
he won't be in. He won't be.
I can't stand Jose Alvarado. I can't. If that happens,
is he the most annoying player?
He's on the list for sure.
It's Pat Bev.
Oh, Pat. Yeah, Pat
Bev, Russ,
Draymond.
Jose.
That's Pat.
Jimmy on that list or no?
Not for me personally.
Yeah.
Patrick Beverly, Draymond Green, Jose Alvarado. You said Westbrook?
Oh, Brooks, Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks.
Personally, Wardell's up there.
Okay.
Personally, he is.
We said someone the first time.
Grayson Allen.
He doesn't do it. After he took off the Duke jersey, it was less
didn't quite hit the same.
Doesn't hit the same.
Let's see here. D'Lo really upsets me when he goes off. When D'Angelo Russell has a
Lakers
game.
Team gets me.
Yeah. Those are probably like my big, I don't know what that is. That's probably like a list of 7 where I just can't have. But Jose's up
first
there.
team.
Jose's first team for sure.
First team
for sure. The fact that he's so annoying, he's got his own signature annoyance. Like the Grand Theft Alvarado, to have something coined that is just in nature incredibly annoying, like that's how you know you've done it. You've made it.
Keegan almost pulled off a Grand Theft Keegan Murray on Steph, right. And he wasn't even meaning to. Steph just wasn't paying attention, didn't end up scoring on that. So before the break, we were trying to figure out, there was a bigger player, a larger player that we were trying to figure out who we were talking about as far as Keon guarding him, and we were likening it to tonight if Keon were to get any time against Brandon Ingram. On the text line, 530 is saying, was it the Suns with KD? I feel like whoever it was, he didn't do well, and we used Kessler and swapped Keon off. So it wasn't KD. I remembered as soon as we went to break, and I think somebody else said something in the Sac chat. It was, oddly enough, or randomly enough, because they should have won that game, it was the Wizards, it was Kyle Kuzma.
Right.
We wanted to see what Keon Ellis would do against Kyle Kuzma, bigger guy, and Kyle Kuzma cooked that whole game, one of their worst losses of the season. So that was the last one. But Kyle Kuzma is bigger than Keon, and he's also more physical than Brandon Ingram, I'd say.
Yeah, I would think so. He's a little bit better built, and I actually think Kuzma might, crazy enough, be taller than Brandon Ingram, and but for the most part, I'm trying to pull up the numbers here on Kyle Kuzma. They had Keon Ellis guard him on 2 possessions. He was 1 of 2, so they really just didn't utilize it too much. He only guarded Kuzma for about a minute. Used a lot of Harrison Barnes, actually a lot of Chris Duarte and Kessler Edwards in that matchup. I don't think, and I know Frankie brought it up. And I do think it's fascinating, like, because these are 1-game playoffs or whatever. It's a play-in, I know. But Brendan actually asked Coach Brown this yesterday in terms of how do you balance essentially being aggressive with your rotations versus, all right, like, we spent days game planning for this. Maybe don't just throw it out the window immediately. You clearly saw something initially that made you think this was a good idea. Don't abandon it. It's going to be fascinating how Mike Brown kind of presses those buttons. Is he going to say, I really don't think that whatever plan we have on CJ's working right now. abort. We weren't planning to throw Chris Duarte out there, but eye test wise, it feels like we need physicality on the ball. Like, how quick is he to pull those triggers, to push those buttons? You could argue this is what, really good coaches. You'll notice Eric Spoelstra. You'll notice, Mike Malone. You'll notice really, really good coaches and how they will adjust for a one-game situation. Today is a great opportunity for Mike Brown to show, hey, I'm a really good coach. Not only do you need to think about the players and their impact, but consider my impact as well. And I know a lot of Kings fans, some fall on one side of Mike Brown, some fall on the other. It's going to be a great opportunity for one of those sides to get some fuel because it is going to be Mike Brown is going to have a say in this game as well.
Yeah, and it's a bad luck to lose to a team 6 times. It's also a bad look to miss out on the playoffs 3 different times.
Sure.
3 different times, and that will be a conversation for Willie Green if they're not able to get it done tonight. Let's hear from Willie Green and what he had to say. He was talking about Brandon Ingram and basically what we can expect from Brandon Ingram. So let's hear from Willie Green in just a second here. Let's get to Steven, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Steven? What you got for us?
You're going to put me before Willie Green? Come on, man. Come on, man.
Sorry.
You can't put me before Willie Green.
I'm sorry.
You're being nice.
There you go.
And
There you
okay.
go.
That's okay. You're being nice. All right, real quick, man. Coach Stiles and Coach Watkins, the team is in front of you. You're about ready to go in. You're about ready for tip-off. What are you guys telling the boys before they go out tonight? When they're all suited up, you're ready. You know what I'm saying? You're like Kurt Russell in The Miracle. You know what I mean? Like, what are you guys saying to these boys? That's what I want to know.
There you go. Well, we will let you know what we'll say after we hear
that's
from
a great segment, Steve.
Willie Green.
We can't blow that. That's a great idea.
Well, we better come correct,
Yes.
and we definitely will have something for you before the show ends. Let's hear from Willie Green and what he had to say on Brandon Ingram.
I'm not sure why we've been so successful against the Kings, but right now we have to block that out. Yes, we'll watch some tape on them, and we have a recipe of what we believe allowed us to be successful, but this is going to be a different game, and we have to embrace that. And like I told our guys, I'm extremely excited about the opportunity that we've given ourselves. We got 2 cracks at it, and this is it. So
I told the guys we had 3 cracks at this, and we haven't been able to get it done any of those times.
Yeah, I mean it'll be interesting to see just how they adjust. I mean, they're gonna have to try and bring it as well. Brandon Ingram, I know, is somebody who is a walking bucket, and so I'm sure him missing time isn't really going to affect him a ton. But at the same time, not allowing him to get into rhythm either is going to be huge. You can't let him step into a couple shots, start feeling himself. And once the juices get flowing, once the adrenaline gets pumping, you're not going to feel any of your injury. So the Kings, again, physicality, and that's going to be the theme of my Steven speech is going to be physicality. You have to make sure that these guys do not get open looks and at least have to work for their shots. I think that's the best thing that they did against Golden State was make sure that these guys are working for every single opportunity they get and nothing comes easy. That's going to have to be on the Kings. That is something that Mike Brown's been talking about a lot. What can you personally control? And that is your effort, your intensity. Shots are going to go in, shots might not go in. The one thing that you can make sure you individually do is make sure you are not the one to blame. You are bringing the proper whatever the coach needs or whatever the team needs to be done. You just got to make sure it's all hands on deck, as our friend TC would say.
And I know this probably isn't fair, but I mean, I'm looking down the list here, and it probably sounds hilarious saying this when, we've joked about the Kings maybe not having, you have Malik Monk and he's not playing now, but all being a little bit low key, heavy, just even keel. But I'm looking here at this Pelicans team and I'm looking around, Chris, and I know CJ McCollum got into it with Clay, but who in that locker room is going to galvanize the troops? I mean, what player in there
great question.
do you think is it going to be Alvarado? You know what I mean? Who's going to be like, hey,
question.
we ain't going out like that? I just have no clue who is the leader of that team. Zion ain't playing. I guess he can do it, but then he's going to sit down on the bench and ride pine. So I just they can't even fill the arena. They have to give away fleece jackets.
Yeah. I hear it's very warm there too.
You could not pick a better situation for the Kings, which is why it scares me so very much. When we return, breaking down the Western Conference playoffs, also Valanciunas has some comments to talk about as far as Domas is concerned, and we give our speeches at 1:30. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
You've been waiting all winter for the snow to melt and the golf course to awaken. It's time for your long-awaited spring golf getaway to Plumas Pines Golf Resort in beautiful Gray Eagle, California. The timing is perfect to take advantage of Plumas Pines Spring Special. You can walk the course for $75 or ride for $90, available 7 days a week through May 23rd. Beneath towering pines adjacent to the Feather River, Plumas Pines Golf Resort offers a spectacular round of mountain golf. You'll love the grandeur of the Sierra, the calmness of Gray Eagle, and the wonderful test of golf at Plumas Pines with spring special rates of $75 to walk and $90 to ride 7 days a week until May 23rd. Make your reservation at plumaspinesgolf.com. Whether you visit for the day or stay a few days, Plumas Pines Golf Resort will make your play memorable. Visit plumaspinesgolf.com and make your tee time reservations for the spring special rates available 7 days a week. That's plumaspinesgolf.com.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company. Sold on report.
Welcome to a brighter future with Aztec Solar, serving Sacramento since 1980. Everyone knows that solar saves money. How much? The answer is a few clicks away. Visit yourpowersavings.com. It's fast, easy, and reliable, giving you instant insight into your potential savings.
I used to pay $400 a month to the power company.
And that $400 a month added up to $48,000 over the past 10 years. That all changed when I switched to solar with Aztec Solar.
Now it's your turn to stop overpaying for electricity. Calculate your solar savings right now at yourpowersavings.com. And Aztec Solar will email or text you how much you'll save every month. Plus, we've got an exclusive offer for you. Get your solar electrical system for just $9,995 cash price after incentives. Don't wait. This deal won't last forever. Visit yourpowersavings.com today and take the first step towards energy independence with Aztec Solar.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
This segment is brought to you by Aztec Solar. Skip the sales pitch. Calculate your solar savings at yourpowersavings.com.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Another way that we could have went about this, Chris, I didn't know if it would hit the same because the defense has been so important, but Kings win if ... De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis score combined for over 50, but I feel like you could still lose. That's not enough. That's not enough of a blanket statement to say.
Yeah, 30-20 might not be enough.
Right. If you don't hold CJ and Brandon Ingram under 45.
Not. Yeah, I think the defensive I think it does point to that as well, that the defensive end is a lot more important than the offensive end tonight. I think you have to try and limit the Pelicans in some capacity. They shot 50% in back-to-back games here against the Kings from three. That just cannot happen. I see Manny Too Legit on the YouTube chat here going 50 points for Fox tonight will be an outstanding performance for him. De'Aaron kills the Pelicans. Historically, let me look at De'Aaron's career highs, because if I'm not mistaken, almost all of his top games as a professional so far have been against the Pelicans. I know obviously there's a lot of different iterations of the Pelicans, but there's something to a guy just having a team's number. And to me, as many times as I can remember, De'Aaron Fox has had something personal against this Pelicans team. He has a 43-point game. His career high is 44. He's done it twice. He has two 43-point games, one in New Orleans, one in Sacramento. They were both in 2021. He also has another big game against the Pelicans, a 38-point performance as well in 2021. So maybe I'm just remembering that 2021 year very, very fondly, but he has personally killed the Pelicans a couple different times. I would love to see De'Aaron, just because tonight is an opportunity where he doesn't have a Steph Curry on the other side. De'Aaron Fox can be the best player on the floor today, and that's not that crazy to say. That to me is that would be the easiest path to victory. If De'Aaron just has 35 plus 40 points, this team, I don't know how many times he's done that even this season, but I can't imagine this team losing a game in which De'Aaron Fox brings that level of a scoring punch. You could argue maybe it's not good because maybe this team does need to kind of spread the wealth a little. It's better for De'Aaron to have maybe 28, but Keon have 13, just so
it's got to be efficient.
It's got to be efficient, I think, is the key. Yeah. So, it's not all 40 burgers are created equal, but if De'Aaron can have that level of impact, I think that's, of course, the best possible thing for the Kings.
Yeah, efficient high-level production is exactly what you need out of De'Aaron Fox. If he turns into Chuck Master Flex, nobody that doesn't really help too much. Wow,
please no clanking.
In the Sac chat, Edward O. Bus driver, Go Pels. He's got an LSU photo. He's spelling go as they do in Louisiana, G-A-U-X. So we have a double agent in the Sac chat, a double agent coming. I've been trying to find a Pelicans fan this whole time. So we found the one. Edward, you should head over to New Orleans, or maybe you're in New Orleans right now. Go get you one of them fleeces.
That's right.
$25 or more. Let's hear from Valanciunas and his matchup with Domas. And as we talk about whoever wins that matchup is going to be in a great position, let's hear what Jonas Valanciunas had to say.
I like matchup. I like my brother. He's a good player, but we find a way how to attack the paint. So we got to keep doing that. We got to double down what we've been successful on. So. Okay, punish them inside, drives, post-ups, all we can do, do or die game today. So whatever works today, we got to do, and do it harder than we usually do.
Yeah, they don't identify as a three-point shooting team.
Yeah, that's
They just cosplay as a three-point shooting team against the Kings.
Your sacked anime is great.
I mean, it's crazy.
That's incredible.
I hear him talking, and somebody is driving saying, is he talking about the Pelicans? That's a team of snipers.
We have not seen that. Yeah, exactly. They have all shooters on their team.
What are we doing?
Yeah, that would definitely be interesting, as if, we're talking a lot about how the Kings are going to throw a different style of play at the Pelicans. If the Pelicans come out and say, oh, you think you're going to stop us from three? That's not even our concern. The three is what's going to happen after we just go at the paint after time after time after time. It'll be interesting because, we know that's a weak spot for this Kings team. That would be interesting if New Orleans views it the same way. They don't have rim protection. They did a great job. Draymond pointed it out at disrupting the lobs and a lot of the attempts at the rim. But if Jonas that's where the length for New Orleans, we talk about it on jump shots, making it tough to contest jumpers. It's the same thing with the layup, right? Like, if you don't have the wingspan to match Brandon Ingram and he can close out your body, he's going to be able to get a free layup attempt, and that could be a problem for the Kings. HB hasn't been great in terms of screen navigation, and definitely sometimes physically getting to the rim. People can easily get by him. Keegan, same thing as well. That could be a problem, and I don't know how the Kings shut off that faucet. That might lead to more Alex Len minutes, which might not be a bad thing, especially against Jonas Valanciunas, but that's definitely something to watch out for. I think that was one of Brendan's keys, right? Was points in the paint.
Yeah, I know we're all afraid of them shooting the lights out at 55%, which they have done, but it's not really their identity. A lot of these teams are spray three type teams, and it just matters how much you're able to bang inside. And Valanciunas, I think he is going to, and that was, I believe, one of Kendrick Perkins, one of his keys to the game as well, as far as what Valanciunas is going to be able to bring to the table as far as scoring and also rebounding the basketball. I don't think the Kings are going to be able to get the offensive rebounds they got against the Warriors, because the Warriors are just traditionally a smaller team.
Yeah.
So those second chance points, you might not be able to count on them the same way you were able to count on them on Tuesday.
Yeah.
From our guy, Hey Johnny K, Kings need to have a team game. Everybody scoring, everybody diving for balls on the floor, rebounding. That is the winning formula for the Kings. Yes, it is 50-50 balls. You know that Mike Brown talks about it all the time. Let's hear from our guy. He's going to get us ready. TC, what you got for us?
Hey, what's poppin', man? Alan, Chris, what's up, bros?
Enjoying a Friday, man. Time is ticking.
Friday, time's ticking. I told y'all, look, I like how everybody using that, man, and understanding about the demons exercising. This is that second team we got to get past, bro. We going to win tonight, man, for sure. Everybody grab your popcorn and get ready, man. There's going to be an emotional win tonight. Everybody going to be flying high, man, and get ready for Sunday, though. Look, check it out. Everybody just do the same game plan how we did the Warriors. Not exactly, but that same game plan. CJ, you're not going to beat us, bro. 9 from 12 from 3. We're going to WBA. You're going to have to show us that you're not injured. Domas, go right at Sabonis. With Zion being out, bro, it's going to even everything out because they don't got a guy where they could just, here, go get it. I know they got a Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, but them is guys that we can limit, bro. We just got to limit their three-pointers. I heard what you guys were talking about as far as the paint, but we got to, we can protect the paint. We just got to be with our heads on the swivel. But the number one thing I think we need to take away is the threes, bro. The paint, that's going to come with it. We can't let them get loose. We can't let Trey Murphy get loose and all that. I think if we hold them down from the threes, bro, and we show up and play that type of defense we played on Tuesday night, bro, we win, bro, with flying colors, dog. Like the beam, we finna go hard. Get ready, y'all.
Thanks for the call, TC. As always,
getting the coaching speak early.
Yeah, we know what that was TC's speech. And
love it.
You know what? If you want to call in, obviously you got to keep it clean. But if you want to call in and you want to give a speech to the Kings, 916-339-1140. We're getting the speeches from everybody to get the vibes right. We will get this audio flown out to New Orleans because we have technology like that to get it played for the Kings and get them hyped up. There are hype videos coming out right now. I'm starting to get chills. The hype videos are all over social media, getting you ready for a huge game. You know, Chris, on the Sac chat, Jesse916 is saying, Kings win if ... their bench outplays, whoever's bench outplays each other will win. And I'm sitting here looking at what happened. And yes, there was no Brandon Ingram, but I'm sitting here looking and this pretty small rotation because now you add Brandon Ingram, but you lose Zion. You had Alvarado play 22 minutes. I get it. He was hot.
Right.
Dyson Daniels played 25 minutes. But besides that, Trey Murphy, 45 minutes. McCollum, 40 minutes. Valanciunas, 33 minutes. Yeah. They have a pretty tight rotation, and so do the Kings. But this is real tight. I mean, Marshall, 4 minutes. Robinson, 2 minutes. Zeller, 9 minutes. They do get Larry Nance Jr. back, but I don't know how deep they're even going to want to go into their rotation. They're working Brandon Ingram back, so everything moving in the direction of the Kings, which is what scares me. I know I've said it time and time again, but if you do look at this positively and just believe that the Kings will finally take care of business in a way that they should, consistently, you should feel pretty good about tonight. When we return, breaking down the other Western Conference matchups and the keys to tonight, Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, The Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
ZZ Top, the Elevation Tour. Friday, May 3rd, 7:30 p.m., the venue at Thunder Valley with special guest, Foghat. ZZ Top, playing all their classic hits. The venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
You heard it. You know the call line, and we're opening the lines up. Your chance to give a speech to your Sacramento Kings. 916-339-1140. Keep it clean, please. Don't want Nate to have to work too hard back there. And we will keep it rolling, and Chris and I will share ours as well. Of course, Prop Talking Dog segment still to come. I don't know how hot we've been, Chris, but we're gonna have to heat up tonight, kind of like the Kings.
It's the postseason.
It's
man.
the postseason.
We need to lock in.
Yeah, I didn't do too well against. Well, really, it was the Warriors who they did absolutely nothing. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Brandon. Wants to be a part of the show. What's up, Brandon? What you got for us?
Hey, how's it going? How y'all doing today?
Feeling good, man. Like the energy. You got a speech?
Yeah, Yes, sir. I just got off of work. I'm here stopping by the smoke shop. I was seeing you guys. Some guy had a great speech about the Kings, and I just wanted to say, I've lived in Sacramento my whole life. My dad took me to Arco Arena growing up and Power Balance and whatever it was called, and right now is our time. The Kings are going to go out there. They're going to kick butt tonight, and they are going to send the New Orleans Pelicans back to their own house in New Orleans, and we're going to come back here and we're going to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. I believe it's going to happen.
That's
sir.
right.
There you go.
That's right.
Thanks for the
That's
call,
right,
Brandon.
Brandon.
Glad you're
Brandon.
off work. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And thanks for calling, Brandon. Great stuff. 916-339-1140. Get your speech in. I know out there right now, there's a coach. Maybe you coach your kids Little League.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you coached in high school for a little bit.
Maybe you coach a fantasy football.
Maybe
team.
you coach a fantasy
Maybe it's your friend you took to the Knicks game.
My friend.
Yeah, isn't he a coach in softball?
Well, that's baseball. Yes. Maybe you coach high school baseball.
Okay.
Whoever you are, call in.
Yeah.
Give us a speech.
Yeah.
If it's a good enough speech and the Kings win, it will be
send it their way.
replayed.
Yeah.
It will be replayed throughout the playoffs if they win. If you give us chills, it will be replayed. Well, Chris,
I have
what's up,
some
Nate?
news. I'm sorry. I don't know if
Sure.
you guys have reported on this, but it's Kings Pelicans related.
Okay.
I believe it was the last game. It was the national TV one, the TNT game.
Uh-huh.
There was a piece of chicken thrown onto
That's
the court.
right.
Oh, my gosh.
And have you seen the video? They caught the guy. The video has been exposed of the guy throwing the chicken, the side by side, and
No.
yeah, I've seen it. It's out there.
So
the
he's
man,
done.
most likely, yeah. You're looking at a.
If they caught you red-handed, you're done.
It's also crazy. They saw it immediately. You're watching the video, and it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great call by Harlan. So on the chicken.
Yeah, hopefully nothing gets thrown
The
on
word is
the
out.
court.
Or
Yeah.
else Zion will go grab it right now.
One of the top comments was they were
Like
trying to
hungry,
get
hungry
Zion,
hippos.
trying to distract Zion. With
This is
food.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I won't be a
Because
part of
the
this.
word's out.
He'll eat the table.
I won't be a part of
Or
this.
the hardwood floor.
Okay. All right. 916-339-1140. Keys to tonight. Also the rest of the Western Conference. Chris, as we look at the rest of the Western Conference, are you entertaining Lakers having a chance against the Nuggets?
I guess I am more than I was last year. I've been listening around to a couple different people that I trust in the national media, and a lot of people are definitely still leaning towards the Nuggets for sure. I mean, I definitely am leaning towards the Nuggets. I did hear one person say something kind of interesting, more just about the Pelicans' depth and how we might be overlooking the fact that they just lost Bruce Brown, who was like a huge part of their title run last year. They also got really good performances out of Christian Brown, who was
That's
a
what
rookie.
I'm saying, man.
And Jamal's been in and out of the lineup here. Michael Porter Jr., who knows what's going to happen when your last name is Porter these days.
Yeah.
So, who knows if they're going to be able to stay healthy for an entire series or for an entire playoff run. I'm still going to pick Denver, but I would acknowledge that they're probably more vulnerable this year than they were last year. And, the Lakers are a really scary team, and they're going to be playing with a six man, if you know what I mean.
As they always are.
Yeah.
If you're making me pick, man, I haven't been very high on the Nuggets.
No, you haven't. You've been very
And
consistent.
I am torn on this.
It's tough. It's a really tough matchup.
I mean, you
on
get
paper.
swept. You are LeBron, and I'm not gonna lie. I was in a scrolling black hole, and I love my motive. I got a lot
Yes.
of the motivational reels that'll pop up with the music behind, and it was stuck. It was a combination one with Tom Brady, and then LeBron pops up, and it was pretty crazy. I mean, he's walking either into the arena or out of the arena, and he's something classic LeBron. If you tell yourself you're tired, then you'll be tired. I don't get tired. And I'm listening to that this morning. I'm thinking, This man might pull this off. This is the type of stuff. He might not win the whole thing,
right?
But these are the type of little victories that add on to the MJ versus LeBron. Well, he did beat the defending champ Nuggets, and then they lost to the T-Wolves. 2-7.
Version of
I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, it could happen. It definitely could happen.
I don't know. If you're making me choose, I'm going to take a flyer and say the Lakers.
Sure.
And I might look crazy.
I mean, if AD is close to the best player in that series, of course, Nikola Jokic is probably going to be the option as number one. But if AD can make life difficult for Jokic, like, there's no reason why the Lakers don't have a chance if D'Lo continues to shoot like how he shot, if, they get a little bit of that playoff Austin Reeves, if LeBron still got it. I know Eric Gordon's a really tough matchup for him. It's definitely in front of him. Gross, I'm not even going to say it. If I knew somebody who supported the Lakers, I wouldn't feel I know those guys are always feeling good about their chances, but I would actually feel pretty good about their chances just because you have Anthony Davis. That's about as good of a counter as you're going to get to Nikola Jokic.
Going back-to-back is tough.
You got the GOAT. You got this generation's GOAT. So literally anything can happen in that series.
All right, but you're taking the Nuggets.
I'm taking the Nuggets just out of safety.
Suns, Timberwolves.
I've, again, heard a lot of whispers about things going the other way. I've heard a lot of people favoring the Suns, actually, funny enough, in this series. I still like the Timberwolves. I don't trust the Suns in the playoffs. Last year, they really disappointed against Denver. I'm still going to go Minnesota, especially if Karl Anthony Towns is going to be close to 100% healthy. I just think Timberwolves have a lot. And, Jaden McDaniels, as much as we made fun of it yesterday, he's a good defensive option to put on KD. I would definitely not say, oh, you guys have KD, we've got Jaden McDaniels. But at the same time, if anybody's going to be able to match up 7-foot KD, it's going to be 6'11" Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah, I'm taking the Timberwolves. Look, they're in a different area of life than the Kings, but they did lose in the first round already, and they had their play and win, and they're figuring things out with Gobert. And the way Anthony Edwards is starting to be pushed as his face of the NBA, this is about that time where if you are going to make some moves, it needs to be now. Yeah. When even though, and I'm taking this one from Whitey Gleason, even though the West is stacked in terms of good teams, we don't know how many great teams there are. So if you don't do it now and something else comes along, Jokic pairs up with Luka or something like that, then you're really in a bind. So I think I'm going to take the Timberwolves there. Last but not least, because we're just doing what's already set, we will do the rest next week. Mavericks, Clippers.
Yeah. One more point on the Gobert thing, too, on Minnesota. I think if Minnesota wins that series, if you're a person who supports the Kings and wants them to make a big move this offseason, I think you want Minnesota to go far in the playoffs because it shows, hey, it might have not worked that first year, but this is justification for doing that all-in trade to take you to the next level.
Right.
If Minnesota loses, I'm not saying it ultimately changes what happens, but it probably adds a little bit more of a, I don't know if that's the best idea. Is it worth it? Exactly. Moving on to Dallas and LA, I think Dallas has the best two players in this series. I just don't trust Kawhi and Paul George. Those two have been in and out of the lineup all year. James Harden is somebody whose playoff resume is well known. I just think the run that Luka and Kyrie are on right now, it feels like they could really make some noise in the playoffs. They're the team where it wouldn't surprise me if in a month or two we're talking about Dallas coming out of the West. I have completely changed my note on Dallas, and I think they can really run the table.
Agreed. I got the Mavericks. I mean, the Mavericks can mess around and find themselves
it's crazy,
in the finals.
Man.
That's how hot they are right now. They're two teams that haven't been really trustworthy, but the Mavericks have been more trustworthy more recently.
Yeah,
so that's just what it comes down to.
And they also own the Clippers.
When we return, coaches' speeches, your last chance to get in your coach's speech. Chris and I give ours. Nate gives his if he wants to as well. Also, prop talk and no segment. Will it be the last one? Hopefully not. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
It was a beam unlike any beam we've seen.
The Warriors 3, no good. Rebounded by Kessler Edwards, and that will do it. You hear the thunderous light the beam chant in the background.
It was a win to remember.
If the heart sounds and the Sacramento Kings have won.
The season still has more life left in it, and the Kings are off to New Orleans for another win or go home game. It's the Kings and the Pelicans. Friday night at 6:30 right here on your home for Sacramento Kings basketball. Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Dirk Verdorn in the KCRA 3 Weather Center, and sunny skies this afternoon with temperatures warming up into the mid to low 80s. Expect to have a bit of a delta breeze by later on this evening to help cool things off nicely as we go through tonight. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down in a heartbeat. So remember to be a little more alert on the road and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Hello, I'm Frank Cockworth, Retirement Security Centers with a weekly economic update. With the recent passing of O.J. Simpson, we're reminded of many parts of his legal legacy. While he was found guilty in civil court for the wrongful deaths of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman in order to pay their families $33.5 million, their families reportedly have only received a fraction of this. Simpson was a recipient of NFL and Screen Actors Guild pensions. Pensions are protected against forfeiture or attachment by creditors under the Employee Retirement Income Security Act. Many retirement plans share this liability protection, such as 401k accounts. Individual retirement accounts and 403b accounts, however, may not share the same levels of protection under ERISA. In California, for example, in your IRA, you can protect only what is necessary to support yourself and your dependents. A currently employed young person may have little protection, while an older unemployed person may have a higher level of protection afforded to them. Liability protection is an important part of a financial plan, not a concern relegated only to the infamous. How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Frank Cockrell is a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corporation, a broker-dealer member SIPC and registered investment advisor. Retirement Security Centers is not an affiliate of Lincoln Financial Advisors.
Spring savings continue at Folsom Lake Kia. Low payments, special offers, zero down deals on approval of credit. Shop your trusted Kia dealership for over 25 years and tell them DC sent you. FolsomLakeKia.com.
Thinking of remodeling your home? Say goodbye to endless internet searches and visit Subcontractors United. Find a list of 3 pre-qualified and licensed contractors in each home service category. From cabinets to landscapers and everything in between, Subcontractors United makes finding qualified contractors free and easy, with no accounts to set up. Visit subcontractorsunited.com and experience the joy of stress-free home improvement. Save time and money at subcontractorsunited.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com.
Brought to you by Tuff Shed, New Dawn Treatment Sensors, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered flex steel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
Hey there, wanted to take a moment of your time so I could talk to you about insecurity. I could talk to you about confidence. I could talk to you about girth. Yeah, what? Girth? Yeah, okay. Let me tell you about the Upsize Clinic at UpsizeMatters.com. My good friend, Dr. Jack, and his friend, Dr. Pash in San Francisco, have a safe, effective, long-lasting doctor-performed procedure. It's non-surgical, virtually pain-free. Now listen, girth is consistently ranked as the most important attribute. What Dr. Jack and Dr. Pash are offering is a free consultation. The procedure can be done on the same day as your consultation and get that confidence back. Reset in the bedroom with your partner. Financing is available. It's very private. It's very discreet. Available in Roseville with Dr. Jack and San Francisco with Dr. Pash at UpsizeMatters.com. That's UpsizeMatters.com.
Maida Chevy saves you $10,000 off MSRP on every new 2024 half-ton Silverado, LT, RST, and LTZ in stock after rebate. Over 50 to choose from.
Exclusive. All in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See deal for details. M43024.
Live and local. Live and local. This is Sactown Sports.
It's time. Nate, got that motivational music ready to go. Probably just search motivational music. You never know what's going to show up. Nate's going to get the motivational music ready to go. Chris, did you prepare something?
Not officially for the speech, but I think I know the direction I want to go.
I have no clue. So you will probably go first.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna have to vamp a little bit, but I'm hoping once the juices get flowing, it's just gonna naturally, it's just naturally gonna spill out like a wordsmith or something.
There you go.
I have no idea.
From Sean Prescott on the Sack Chat.
Ooh,
it's a chicken wing.
Ooh,
it was actually a chicken strip, but it did look like
That's
I
what Chris
understand.
was.
Yeah,
that's what Chris was saying.
I was on it. I was waiting for someone to say, no, actually, there's chicken wings in section 125.
Nate, I need something darker. I need something darker.
More ominous?
Yeah, I need something more ominous.
I think
need
he wants
something Dark Knight-ish.
Okay, I'll just get
this.
I think he wants epic. He doesn't want motivational.
He
wants epic.
This is like after the win.
Okay, so
I need darker.
I think this is.
I need the gutter.
Okay, all right. Give me a sec.
We are literally in the swamp.
Oh my God.
We are
Do
in
it
the
as
swamp.
Gus. Do it
I'm
as
not
Gus.
doing it as Gus.
Why?
Nate, this makes me feel too happy. This doesn't make me feel like they're 0-5.
This is inspiration.
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
Okay, all right. Hold on. Give me a sec.
Yeah,
all right.
Give Nate a sec. Audible.
DJ Bedhead will come through for us.
Oh no.
Chris, you could have went with that
Something
if you
else.
liked that.
I definitely could have, but it's fine. It's fine.
I want to feel it.
I know. No, I get it. You want to feel the intensity. You want to feel you want some Dark Knight, like you said.
That's right.
Yeah,
I want to feel like it's cold outside.
You want some Michael Bay music,
and it's nighttime.
Yeah. He needs some explosions. Oh, I mean, is this literally the Batman music?
I don't know, man. Maybe.
All right, we're gonna roll with this.
Good enough.
Chris,
gentlemen, very rarely do you have an opportunity to make up for your mistakes. We already did it on Tuesday, okay? We sent that team back to the Bay, and we know how those feelings go. Gentlemen, 0-5. 0-5 this year. This Pelicans team has had our number every single time. Not this time. This time, we're taking it to them, okay? Are you kidding? The Pelicans? You guys are scared of Pelicans? We're Kings, okay? You know what that means? That's supposed to mean something around here. Gentlemen, it's in your hands tonight. I've done what I can do, okay? We've done the practices. We've watched the film. Tonight, it's about you. It's about you guys going out there, executing, being physical, hitting your shots. Harrison, looking at you. You got a great opportunity in front of you tonight, boys. And all you can do is seize it. So let's go seize it right now at Smoothie King Center, where all great events happen. Gentlemen, Kings on me, Kings on 3. 1, 2, 3.
let's go. Chris, that was outstanding.
Good job.
It's all
I
about
don't even want to
pacing.
go.
It's all about pacing.
I don't even want to go, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
How's that for hitting the mark, Jason?
I got chills.
Come on.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
You just
was
got to throw a lot of
outstanding.
gentlemen in there. And,
That was outstanding.
Pace.
I'm ready to go
I'm for
right
hire,
now.
by the way. Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
If you need me to speak
Achilles
to
is
your-
ready. Put me in. That was outstanding, Chris.
Healing
Great
effort.
job.
Thank you.
Great job. Nate?
Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, listen up, Kings. Today we face a formidable opponent in the Pelicans. But remember, every challenge is an opportunity for greatness. It's not about the size of the opponent, but the size of our heart and determination. We've trained hard, we've prepped tirelessly, and now it's time to show the world what we're made of. Together, we'll fight with everything we've got, leaving it all on the court. Believe in yourselves. Trust in your teammates. Let's go out there and give it our all. Victory awaits those who dare chase it with unwavering courage and passion. Let's show the world what it means to be Kings.
What is that?
It was ChatGPT, was it not? That was ChatGPT, wasn't it, Nate?
Yeah.
Nate, what the heck, man?
You don't even have anything.
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
All right, go.
Was that Magic Johnson or was it ChatGPT?
Gentlemen, in life, there are decisions to make. As far as who you want to be. The do's and the don'ts. The wills and the won'ts. Now, you've been pushed around. You're tired of getting pushed around. The Pelicans, they've beat you with every combination in the book. So now, it's not about the X's and O's. It's not about how much you've worked to get to this point. It's about what you will do when your backs are against the wall and nobody believes in you besides your brother to your left and your brother to your right. We have one chance at this, to right the wrongs from throughout the season. 1 wrong, 2 wrong, 3 wrong, 4 wrong, the 5th wrong in our house. No Zion? Well, we got no Malik. We got no Herder. But what we do have is a bunch of dogs that aren't afraid of any Pelicans. Kings on 3. Let's get this W. And the Thunder, they next. Let's go.
Wow.
The laugh did it for me.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Keegan, go ahead.
All day light.
All
All
right,
night
guys.
light.
Let's win this game. Let's
do it.
ChatGPT can't do that. Take that for ChatGPT.
He'll eat the table.
Take that for ChatGPT.
See, we got to give good speeches because, if Zion's going to be doing that in the other locker room, that get me pretty hyped. If somebody's just straight up, let's go, boys, and then just nomming on a table.
Who want to eat a W? Who want to eat a W?
Who want to eat a W tonight? They're over there eating tables. We eating dubs.
Who want to eat a W tonight?
Dude, how much of the staff do they have the cooking staff at the Smoothie Kings?
916, let's go. Let's go.
What do you think it's Smoothie
From
Kings?
Steven.
They're a food sponsor for it.
Let's go. It's time to get hyped, Chris.
Let's go.
The hype train has just arrived.
Yeah. Just in time for shout-outs and closeouts, too.
It's the hype train.
Yeah.
Shout-outs and closeouts coming up next.
In New Orleans who love them. They're looking for them.
Whoever wants to call in,
something's cooking up.
Get your speech in. You got one more segment to get your speech in. You got one more segment, shout-outs and closeouts. If you want to shout out anybody, shout out your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister.
Your point guard.
Somebody that made you a very nice bagel and lox this week. Yeah. Anybody, your dog, your cat. Shout-outs and closeouts. Dog segment, our prop talk when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Keegan going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
It's Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you want a deal that's a slam dunk, go see the winning team at Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is your truck headquarters with all your American-made favorites, like America's best-selling F-Series, F-150s, and Super Duties, or spacious new Explorers and Expeditions, plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports, all in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. In the Folsom Auto Mall, you can buy any new Ford with zero down down on approved credit, save big with low interest finance rates, and Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Check out the huge selection of inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership to see their most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. They'll help you out. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 35 years and counting.
Welcome to the Tap House Restaurant at Bartley Kavanaugh Golf Course. With an array of local craft brews from a selection of 20 taps, the Tap House menu boasts freshly made sandwiches, crisp salads, and a variety of specialty entrees. The Tap House is the perfect place for a round after your round at Bartley Kavanaugh Golf Course, especially during happy hour from 3 to 6 daily. Drop by the Tap House Restaurant for scenic views, exquisite food, and a hearty welcome. The Tap House at Bartley Kavanaugh Golf Course.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Whether you prefer thrills or serenity, the 2024 Accord from Elk Grove Honda delivers both. With Honda Sensing Standard, the 2024 Accord is once again a winner of the 2024 Car and Driver's 10 Best Cars, making Honda the winningest brand in car and driver award history. Drive a 2024 Accord Hybrid and see for yourself what the fuss is all about. We're Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at American Energy. Now, I've told you this before, but this is what we call extending a good deal. Right now, American Energy Heat and Air is offering an HVAC diagnostic for $99. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Never mind. They're offering it free. It's a $99 value, but you get it for $0. Let the American Energy team test your system connections and all the moving parts of that system to ensure that it's functioning properly. Now, this is a limited time offer. Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. Speak to the company that has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau that's been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T level is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They're in Midtown in the Cal Sutter Medical Building and also offer telemedicine appointments. Plus, with free shipping directly to you, Revive takes the hassle out of treating low T and ED. Schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation today. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Sponsored by Xfinity. Enjoy the entertainment you love with the Xfinity Stream app. Turn any screen into a TV and take the entertainment you love wherever you go. Xfinity, we connect you to more of what you love.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
All right, it is time. Hopefully it won't be the last time. Prop Talk. There's some good ones today.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's going to come down to the big boys. Chris, I know what I'm seeing, what I like. What are you liking?
I'm seeing a couple numbers that I really like. Some that I'm wishy-washy on. I just told you I'm looking at Keegan Murray free throws. He's gotten to the line quite a bit here recently. His number's at 1.5 made free throws. I'm kind of concerned he might only get to the line once, so I don't know if I feel great about that. There's a couple. Davion Mitchell, 6.5 points. I think Trey Lyles is also 6.5. It might be 7.5 points. Keon Ellis, block steals is always a good one for him. You know what? Ultimately, I think I'm going to fall on Keegan, 1.5 made free throws. I think he's got to be aggressive, looking for his shot. But also, it can't just be shooting the basketball. He's got to get in that paint. He's got to try and get some fouls on Jonas Valanciunas, maybe get some fouls on Brandon Ingram. I'm going to say Keegan gets to the line and knocks them both down. 1.5 made free throws for Keegan Murray today.
Yeah, I was going to go the Keegan route as well. I really like Keegan at 18 points because, honestly, I just don't know that you win if Keegan Murray doesn't score 18. I don't know if you're able to win that basketball game. But I mean, is it fair to our listeners if we do the same thing? If we do the same person?
It's up to you.
Nate, you go.
Fine. Okay. I got a question first. What are the stars around these players?
I'm trying to figure that out. No idea.
Okay.
I think it's just, power, a power play. I don't know.
Fox has stars around all of them. DeRozan does.
It's all the stars. All the stars got stars.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to go with someone who doesn't have a star around his name. Keon Ellis, 1.5 steals. I'm taking the more. 2 at least for Keon. I think that's easy money.
Yeah, I think he's cooled off. It is funny to have it at that number because he definitely was stealing the ball from Stephen Curry. So
yeah.
So I feel you on that. Yeah, Chris, I like where you went. Honestly, I feel like Trey Lyles at 6.5?
Yeah, he's 6.5 points.
And I don't think did he get there last game? I don't know that he got there last game.
He got to 7. So he barely crossed it. And him and Davion both had a rough game off the bench.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Trey Lyles over 6.5 points.
There we go. Trey Lyles. There we go. Okay, Trey Lyles over 6.5 points. Nate, what was yours again?
Keon Ellis, 1.5 steals.
Keon Ellis, 1.5 steals. So we have Keon Ellis over 1.5 steals. We have Trey Lyles over 6.5 points. And we have Keegan Murray over 1.5 free throws made. There we go.
There you go. Well, get him in. Hopefully it won't be the last one. Get him in right now. And now it's time.
Who's going to be that
play-in dog segment? Let's get it.
The dogs out. All right. It only feels right. There's a lot of guys who need to be dogs. I mean, they all need to be dogs if the Kings are going to win today, especially, to try and break that 0-5 streak right now. The number one dog has to be De'Aaron, though, for me. I just have to. And I think it's going to be okay if we all pick similar guys because I just think in your biggest game, your best players have to be incredible. And De'Aaron, it's going to be a lot of eyes on you tonight. And I think De'Aaron's going to live up to it. And I'm picking De'Aaron Fox as my dog for tonight.
Sometimes it's just not a day to mess around.
Yeah.
And
tonight, Fox is a dog.
Throughout the regular season, when we're doing dog segment, you could easily pick Fox or Sabonis every single day. But this is not a time to do that, right? Or to avoid that. And because of that, I hear what you're saying. I'm torn because, obviously Sabonis is another good one. Somebody is going to have to do something that we don't expect. And I think I'm going to double down here and say Trey Lyles. Obviously, the dog is relatively speaking, but shout out to the Trey Bays. I'm going with Trey Lyles. Maybe give me a 10-piece, 2 threes, 10-piece, some good defense, some hard-nosed play. I'm going to go with Trey Lyles as my dog tonight.
There we go.
I'm doubling down as well. Keon Ellis, plain and simple. I just think he's ready for the spotlight. That's it.
There you go.
He's like the definition of a dog.
Yeah.
You have Manny Too Legit, Foxy, my dog. He going for a 40-piece with over 6 assists and over 5 rebounds. This is a game, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
This is a game. between the two games, I think more people are going to be paying attention to this one. You have Brandon Ingram, who is around star level. You have obviously De'Aaron Fox, who, a lot of people are intrigued by the beam. They don't watch a lot of Kings games. Some of them don't even know when the beam happens. There were the cute story last season, the Kings were, and everybody is sitting down on a Friday night between the two games. I know people love the Heat. We got random Heat fans everywhere, and people do love the Bulls as well. But this is a game where, okay, are we this cute team in the Kings, kind of a down year for them. You're missing Malik Monk. You're missing Red Velvet, Kevin Huerter, two of the guys that I think the outside world could recognize. What do you do? This is a huge night. I talk about brands. I'm not scared of it. This is a huge night for De'Aaron Fox. This is a huge night for Domantas Sabonis. Narratives, the people that write about you that don't do their homework and see these large games, these national games, this is an opportunity for you to get it done.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this is a huge opportunity. They can really flip the narrative. I think a lot of people are still going to wait for Domantas Sabonis to have that playoff series, but this goes a long way, especially for De'Aaron Fox, man. I know a lot of people haven't paid attention to the Kings, but they still know De'Aaron Fox is the number one on this team, and he's going to get all the credit. If this team wins, regardless of if he has, 24 points or if he has 40 points, the next day, everyone's going to be talking about De'Aaron Fox leading his team to victory, and it just has to be that way. There is no way I can see the Kings winning this game without De'Aaron Fox being one of their best two players. I think it just has to happen. He's got to have big moments. He's got to look at this as an opportunity to get back on that tier list of a lot of guys talking about Jalen Brunson. Of course, tons of people talking about Shea this year. Mm-hmm. De'Aaron Fox has been a forgotten name when it comes to that category of young guards. Nothing will do De'Aaron Fox's brand better than him having a really big night tonight when there's only 2 games of basketball on. Right. The NBA world is watching. Put Shea on notice for when you play him on Sunday. That's right. On Sunday, when, not if, when the Kings are playing OKC, put them on notice and let them know, hey, you got a train coming over to OKC. Right. We got all the momentum right now. Y'all haven't played in about a week. We've been playing nothing but hardcore, serious games for the past, felt like a month at this point. Easily. We're ready to go. I don't know about OKC, and the Kings just need to, when they go to OKC, just need to take one, man. If you could take one game, bring a 1-1 series lead or tied series back to Golden One Center for games 3 and 4 next week. Oh boy. It's going to be a fun week next week.
Let's get it. You have Martin says, Ellis is my dog of the night. Derek in Tacoma says, light the beam tonight. Brandon Deitzman also has Keon Ellis. All right. Shout outs and closeouts. Yeah. Let's get it in.
Of course. Got to shout out. Got to shout out our Kings for even still being here. Yeah. The fact that they survived Tuesday are giving us more opportunity on Friday to have some excitement. Game 1 will be on Sunday. Can't ask for better. If you love basketball, this is about as good as it gets. Yesterday's like the last day we're going to have without basketball for like a month and a half. So Be ready. This is going to be a roller coaster, and tonight's just the start of it.
There you go. We're trying to keep things positive, of course, here. But you never know what could happen in this game. So I do want to give a shout out to all the listeners throughout this whole season. Yeah. We don't think that it's going to be the end. But, Chris and I, a very young show, we're trying to grow here in Sacramento. And Chris has been a staple here in Sacramento. And I want to thank everybody for kind of adopting me and adding me to the fold. It's been great. So shout out to you. We're growing each and every day. Fastest growing show in Sacramento. Nate!
Shout out Kayla, I love you.
There you go. Oh, wow, that's going to be a good weekend. Either way. The Drive Guys up next. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, our guy Jay. Until Monday, secure the bag, light the Pelicans beam.
It took 4 quarters of locked-in effort, intensity, and focus to knock out the Golden State Warriors.
Shake.